a carload of cash right now. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate. A check of the roads coming up in 2 minutes on AM 560, The Answer.
Larry Elder sees Trump already getting tough.
If they're paying their bills, and if I think they're treating us fairly, the answer is absolutely, I'd stay with NATO.
And Barack Obama complained about NATO not paying its bills. George W. Bush complained about NATO not paying its bills. Donald Trump complained about NATO not paying their bills. And guess what? NATO began to step up and paying their bills.
The Larry Elder Show, weeknights at 8, right before Sean Hannity at 10 on AM 560. The Answer.
If you have high blood pressure, listen to this story. Ira was given a grim diagnosis about his blood pressure. His doctor warned it's sky high. If he didn't get it down in 3 weeks, he was going to need surgery. So Ira began exercising, went on medication. But what seemed to be the miracle change, his diet. After thorough research and consulting with a nutritionist friend, Ira concocted a juice from foods that work like natural blood pressure medicines. 2 weeks later, his blood pressure dropped 30 points. What helped save Ira's life, amazed his doctor, is now available to you. Ira and his nutritionist founded 120 Life, a delicious juice and powdered mix with natural ingredients that have shown to lower blood pressure. Try it yourself risk-free with a 2-week trial pack. Go to 120life.com and use coupon code 560 to save 15% and get free shipping. They're so sure it can noticeably lower your blood pressure in 2 weeks, they'll give your money back if you're not satisfied. Order now, 120life.com. Use coupon code 560 at checkout.
If you own or run a business and you listen to AM 560, you might not realize that the conservative programming that you enjoy is supported by advertisers. Our loyal listeners love to do business with the advertisers they hear every day on AM 560. Now, it probably won't surprise you that there are some businesses who avoid advertising with us because they don't like what we do here. And that's okay, because our audience wants to support businesses that support what we do and think like we think. We would love to have you join the list of successful companies who are already reaching new, like-minded customers. Most AM 560 advertisers have been here for years for one simple reason: they get results. Join our efforts to make a difference in the lives of our listeners who are passionate about supporting our great family of AM 560 advertisers. To learn more, just visit 560theanswer.com/advertise. That's 560theanswer.com/advertise.
Wow. Are you buying or are you selling? As this is being written, silver is up more than 50% in just the past 8 months. And gold is the highest it's ever been. Whether you are just getting into the metals, want to roll your IRA into silver or gold, or want to take some profits off the table, Fox Valley Coins is ready, willing, and able to help. Even though Fox Valley Coins is a national dealer, they're family-owned and in your own backyard. Fox Valley Coins in Naperville almost always has the product you want in stock and pretty much always has the best pricing when you buy or sell. Buying or selling is easy. Bring your items in. We'll establish the price and pay you cash or check on the spot. Don't wait until the end of the year to move your assets around. Did you know that Fox Valley Coins has sold over 3,000 one-ounce silver Donald Trump coins? We have several designs, but they're going fast. Fox Valley Coins on Route 59 in Naperville. Family-owned integrity since 1981.
Let's take a look at the roadways from the Team Hochberg Traffic Center.
The Eden, 16 minutes either direction between Lake Cook and Montrose. The Kennedy inbound. That entrance ramp from Lawrence, it's opening up from the overnight road work. O'Hare into downtown, 26 minutes. Outbound side of the Kennedy, it's clear to the airport. Eisenhower in at 30 minutes from 390 to Congress. Looks good on the Stevenson inbound, 28 minutes from 355 to DeSava Lakeshore Drive. Dan Ryan in. Local lanes, the on-ramp at 47th, it's now back open. 18 minutes from 95th into downtown. Traffic is a service of Trim Lights Chicago. Don't let hanging holiday lights get you in a Scrooge mood. 'Tis the season to save time, money, and energy with permanent, programmable holiday lighting for your home. Get your free quote today at trimlight-chicago.com. Reporting from the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, I'm Joanne Jeanette.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next, but now a quick check of your forecast from the National Weather Service.
Some areas of fog this morning. Rain, breezy and a high 51. Cloudy, breezy and mild. Periods of rain this evening. Drizzle late tonight, low 45. Spotty drizzle early tomorrow. Cloudy, breezy and mild, the high 51. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
Balance of Nature supplements, changing the world one life at a time.
I am a senior citizen, and actually I've seen the commercials, and I started taking it because I thought, well, that sounds like a really good idea.
Well, I saw it. We watch Fox News, and I saw it on there, so I thought to order them. And I'm telling you, it's terrific stuff.
It makes me feel good. So me and my wife both enjoy it, you know.
Because I can't do it without my Balance of Nature.
We've maintained it without taking a lot of food supplements we had been taking. We stopped and are just using Balance of Nature supplements.
Happy New Year! Start the year right and get big savings on Balance of Nature supplements with our limited time New Year's deal. Sign up as a new preferred customer to get 35% off your first preferred set, plus a free fiber and spice supplement. Go to balanceofnature.com and get this exclusive New Year's offer by using discount code Chicago.
This is Carol Platt-Liebau for townhall.com. In a commutation spree 2 days before Christmas, the Biden administration shocked the nation's conscience by commuting the sentences of 37 of the 40 murderers on federal death row. They include a man who kidnapped and murdered a 12-year-old girl, men who killed a family, including 2 children, a killer who assaulted and then stabbed 2 little girls, a cop killer, and more. These commutations aren't justice, they're lawlessness. Congress put the death penalty in place for certain heinous crimes, and as the nation's chief executive, Joe Biden is supposed to be enforcing the law, not setting it aside wholesale. Of course, we all know Joe Biden is no longer running his administration, if he ever was. These 37 commutations are a clear sign of a president who simply isn't there, and a White House staff who couldn't care less about his legacy, the victims of crime, or justice.
$20 million. No, it's not the national debt. It's the buying spree at Fox Valley Coins. And it's on from now until Thanksgiving. It's really the perfect storm. Gold and silver are at historic levels. Fox Valley Coins has a huge order to fill with one of their national clients. And September through Thanksgiving is always when coin dealers stock up for Christmas sales. They are especially looking for the old collector coins like silver dollars, all 1700s through early 1900s coins. All kinds of gold, from broken jewelry to gold bars to the old coins, U.S. and foreign. All kinds of silver, from sterling silverware to old coins and bars to Franklin Mint items. They can pay cash or check and make house calls on larger deals prior to Thanksgiving. Fox Valley Coins, 1 light north of I-88 at the Naperville-Warrenville border. They'll make free, no-obligation offers. Make that 20,000,001 reasons to go to Fox Valley Coins now. They give free in-store offers on your items.
A large retail store just canceled a huge order, leaving MyPillow with a ton of extra MyPillows. But you know what? That's their loss and your gain. For the first time ever, you'll get a standard classic MyPillow for wholesale prices, only $14.88. But it gets even better. For a limited time, they're going to offer their entire classic collection at wholesale prices. Get queen-size MyPillows for just $18.88. Upgrade to king-size for only $1 more. Get the body pillows for $29.88 and multi-use MyPillows for only $9.88. So go to MyPillow.com and use promo code LIBERTY or call 800-489-0201 to take advantage of wholesale pricing for the first time ever and receive free shipping on orders over $75. That's right. Get the standard MyPillow for only $14.88. They have never been offered this low before. They're limited quantities at this price, so the limit is going to be 10, and once they're gone, they're gone. So go to MyPillow.com or call 800-489-0201 and use promo code LIBERTY to get the standard MyPillow for only $14.88, the lowest price ever.
The weather is starting to turn to fall, and before you know it, the snow will be flying. Are your tires prepared for the rain and snow? Remke's Garage sells the most popular tire for this Chicago weather, the Toyo Celsius. Why Toyo, you ask? The Toyo Celsius tire has been uniquely engineered to help you specifically navigate Chicago's extreme weather and road conditions. Not only is the tire the most round, minimizing irregular wear, the asymmetric tread design is able to handle the crazy Chicago weather when it starts raining 1 minute, icy the next, and snowing within a few more minutes. Have peace of mind when going down the road that your tires are prepared for the conditions. So, Why wait? Stop by Remke's Garage today and let their team inspect your tires and get you on the road with confidence. Visit us at remkesgarage.com. That's remkesgarage.com. REMKES, remkesgarage.com. Remke's Garage, repairing America.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on singlecare.com, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to singlecare.com or download the free app today.
Rick Borick, host of Unleash Your Wealth.
When the stock market struggles, when inflation is high, you need to start looking through the inventory of all your accounts and say, is every one of these investments working as hard as it could be? Because every month during high inflation that you waste, you're losing 8 or 9% a year.
Unleash Your Wealth, Saturday at 7 a.m. and our new time at 2 p.m. here on AM 560, The Answer.
Healthcare.gov has plans for health because you have plans for life. All plans cover doctor visits and emergency care to keep you and your family running strong. All plans cover hospital stays and prescriptions so you can have peace of mind. Visit healthcare.gov to explore health plans from the brands you know. 4 out of 5 customers can find a health plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Enroll at healthcare.gov by December 15th for coverage starting January 1st. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Wealth Health Radio. The biggest fears that people have is, do I have enough money to retire? Retirement doesn't have to be complicated. To make sure that you're going through retirement with confidence. Learn principles of income planning. There's a lot of different facets that you need to take into consideration when you're retiring. Tune into Wealth Health Radio with Joe Murphy, noon to 1 p.m. Sundays on AM 560, The Answer.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-839-8484. 800-839-8484. 800-839-8484.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Alpha Wealth Group, bringing the trilogy of estate, tax, and investment planning together. Visit alphawealthgroup.com for a free report.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Chicago. This is not Dan Prof. And that fine-looking gentleman over there sitting across from me is not the beautiful, vivacious Amy Jacobson. I'm John Anthony, host of Black and White Radio, heard every Saturday from 4 to 7 p.m. right here on these airwaves, joined by my good friend, my buddy. We become really good friends, Charles Thomas, former ABC 7 reporter. What's up, brother?
Well, John, you got to bear with me this morning, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh,
yeah, I watched
man.
everything, including that catastrophic fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Actually, the whole thing was catastrophic, but we'll talk about that.
We're going to park it right here because you know why? And here's the reason why we're going to park it right here. I'm tired today because I sat up and watched that awful game between the Chicago Bears and the Seattle Seahawks. Now, I normally am in bed by 8:30 when I do morning radio. I didn't get to bed till after 10 o'clock because I couldn't sleep because then I was upset. I was very upset 6-3, Charles.
Hey, man, I'm in bed by 7:30, and I'm not, with no game on anyway. Yeah, that was a little ridiculous. You know, the thing that stood out to me more than anything about the Bears' offense. Do you know how many passes Cole Kmet caught last night?
You know why I know? Because he's on my fantasy football team. 0.
He's 6'6" and 262 pounds.
Yes.
This guy is a monster.
Yes.
Throw the ball over the middle to him. Because if you notice, the Seahawks were lining up 7-8 guys on the line whenever it was 3rd and long.
Right.
And then they dropped 2 back and rushed 5. Hit the tight end, man.
But Charles, so my buddy, I watched the game at my buddy's garage, and one of the things that I've noticed about this Bears team, and I know, guys, I know this is a political talk show, but I'm frustrated right now because I had to be here early in the morning, and the Bears lost. One of the things that I've been telling my friend about the Chicago Bears, did you notice one thing? Have you seen the Bears run a slant play anytime this year?
A slant play.
Wait. You know, the receivers slant slant towards the middle of the field.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
I've seen them run across the field, deep crosses. But, I mean, Charles, what the heck is wrong with this team?
They don't, at various times this year, I've blamed the coaches.
Yeah.
Then I've blamed, the new quarterback.
Yeah.
Then I've blamed the front office.
Yeah.
Then it goes on and on and on. Everything is dysfunctional at this point. I mean, they're in total chaos. They wasted 20, 30 seconds in the fourth quarter when they were driving at the end. What a field goal would have at least extended the game. But they wasted like 30, 35 seconds off the clock. And they had timeouts.
Right.
Remember that?
Oh, yeah. I blame ownership. There's a documentary out about George Halas, right? I don't know if you've seen that documentary. It's like a 20-something minute documentary. And it talks about how the Bears team would have gone to the son, but as you know, he died at, I think he was 58 at a heart attack or something like that. So Virginia McCaskey took over. Mm-hmm. And there was a gentleman, what's his name? Finke? Is it Ray Finke? The basically the guy that put together the 85 Bears? I mean, it was a fascinating look into George Halas's life and things of that nature. But imagine had that guy who put together that 85 Bears team maintain control over the Bears. Whereas, and it also talks about how Mike Ditka cursed the Bears head coaches from the moment he was fired. Because if you notice, Charles, we have not hired a alpha male type coach since Mike Ditka.
Yes, we have.
Who? Tell me.
Lovie Smith. They fired Lovie Smith. He went 10-6. He missed the playoffs.
Yeah.
Stuff like that happens. But he went 10-6.
Yeah.
He took the Bears to the Super Bowl, remember?
Okay. Yeah, he did.
And, he was the last good coach that they've had.
Yeah. But what I mean by that alpha male, I mean, Ditka, he was hardcore, man. He had some big kahunas, and that vivacious, that dude that'll get up in the face of people. I mean, Lovie, they've all had the same type personality is what I mean. Lovie, maybe not Dave Ronstadt. Maybe Dave Ronstadt was a guy who, had that, come get you. But I mean, Dick Duran, they all had this feeble, mild and meek type personality. Mm-hmm. Dude, I want a John Gruden. I want somebody that's going to just wake up this team because they suck.
Yeah, John Gruden's still out there, man.
I know.
I think he could coach. But, he got caught up in the DEI, what is it,
DEI thing?
The cancellation business.
Yeah.
And
that's
and
why
he
I say hire him.
He didn't do anything, really.
But the Bears are too safe. They won't bring somebody like that onto. But Charles, how was your Christmas, brother?
It was beautiful, man.
Yeah.
I was just telling you a story about how my wife this year didn't want any Christmas trees and candy canes and stockings around. So when the kids and the grandkids came over this year for Christmas Eve, the way they do every year, man, we ended up singing Christmas carols.
Oh.
The group family just sang Christmas carols, and we celebrated Jesus Christ.
Amen.
And man, that's the first time that we focused like that.
Wow.
I mean, man, I it's something I'll never forget because we stripped it away, and the Christmas and joy happened anyway through our celebration of the birth of Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
As opposed to candy canes and jingle bells and all that.
Right.
Yeah. I had a great Christmas, man.
Good, man.
Memorable.
Christmas, Thanksgiving, Christmas has become bittersweet for me now, because I don't have my son here with us. But to see the joy on my daughter's faces as normally they wake us up at 6 o'clock in the morning, but for some reason they didn't get up to 7:30 a.m. this morning. I was happy. but to see the joy on their faces and they know what Christmas is about. It's not so much about the giving and things of that nature, but it's more about the story of Christ. And so.
And how old are they now?
Well, I have 5 girls.
5 girls.
22. I got to get this right. 22, 18, 11, and 2 7-year-old girl twins.
Oh man.
Yeah. I mean, so it's amazing, brother.
Mm-hmm.
It's to be around them. And I mean, it brings me hope. And I actually made a Facebook post last night. There's some people who didn't too much like what I made about the post because I basically talked about, in politics, sometimes we don't give grace to the people who are elected officials. And as someone who's served as an elected official, I think sometimes we miss the humanity of who these elected officials are. And I just simply say, give grace. I think 2025 is going to be a year where I think we're going to have to give grace to people. Now, I'm not saying that you don't challenge, their positions. You don't challenge, who they, what they've done. I mean, because I do that on my show every week. But I think sometimes we miss the mark when we revert to name calling and things of that nature. Does that make any sense to you, Charles?
Absolutely, makes all the sense in the world. I mean, we have to in this country get back to being good people, good Americans.
Yes.
We got to take the hyphens out of our world,
right,
and the labels, and we have to understand that we're all Americans.
I agree.
At some point, we are Americans first.
Right.
And that was, and that's reason to celebrate again.
Yeah.
The country shifting back toward that mentality again, and we saw a sign of that in November.
And some would say, well, John, you're sitting with a MAGA hat on. Your guy is the guy who goes and does that. But, I don't think people know who the real Trump is. And they don't get to see that soft side of Trump and a lot of the things that he's done. I'm really trying to get an interview with Donald Trump coming up. I can't, there's some great news, great things happening in my own life that I can't really go public with just yet. But I'm trying with everything. If you know Donald Trump, if anybody out there, I'm trying to get him. I would love to do an interview with him because, again, one of the things I try to do on my radio show every Saturday is show that humanity side of people who I interview, and that's why I like to have discussions, even with people I disagree with, because I think in the way we learn, the way we do get better is when we have those conversations and we can have a frank, honest, and open conversation about no matter what the issue is, Charles. I mean, that's one of, you and I, we've done this from day one, from the very moment we met. We've always had those open, honest, and frank discussions. And I think that's just sorely missing in today's political realm. You know?
I think we're having, the discussion is happening, but it's not happening in the place where it should happen, which is the mainstream media.
Right.
But it's not happening there. I mean, they invested in this identity journalism, this opinion journalism.
Yeah.
And I see some of them,
right,
slowly trying to make a move back toward the middle.
Right.
And it's going to be difficult.
It is.
And it's also going to have to happen in the journalism schools around the country.
Ooh, let's talk about that more. We got to go to break. But, one of the things I want to know is, what was your – I started this on Saturday on my show. What was your big moment of 2024? And, for me, it was Donald Trump winning the election. It was him being shot. Let's get into that and more. Give us a call, 312-642-5600. That's It's 5600. I'm John Anthony. He's Charles Love. We're filling in for Dan and Amy. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com.
If you're driving a car or truck with an expired warranty and suddenly lost your transmission or needed a full engine repair, would a $4,000 repair bill leave you stranded? I'm Danica Patrick. Don't get caught off guard with a vehicle breakdown. Choose the company I trust. Endurance. No matter the mileage, if your vehicle is less than 20 years old, Endurance offers auto protection plans for any budget. Protection on the drivetrain, electrical, transmission, AC, and more. Plus 24/7 roadside assistance and rental car reimbursement on any plan. Endurance handles everything, from making the claim to paying the certified mechanic of your choice. Act now and get 1 full year of elite benefits. A $2,000 value, free.
Call for your fast free quote today. Call 800-289-6016. That's 800-289-6016. 800-289-6016.
This is Carol Platt-Liebau for townhall.com. In a commutation spree 2 days before Christmas, the Biden administration shocked the nation's conscience by commuting the sentences of 37 of the 40 murderers on federal death row. They include a man who kidnapped and murdered a 12-year-old girl, men who killed a family, including 2 children, a killer who assaulted and then stabbed 2 little girls, a cop killer, and more. These commutations aren't justice, they're lawlessness. Congress put the death penalty in place for certain heinous crimes, and as the nation's chief executive, Joe Biden is supposed to be enforcing the law, not setting it aside wholesale. Of course, we all know Joe Biden is no longer running his administration, if he ever was. These 37 commutations are a clear sign of a president who simply isn't there, and a White House staff who couldn't care less about his legacy, the victims of crime, or justice.
As we near the end of the year, many families in Latin America and the Caribbean are struggling just to get by. Inflation, food shortages, and natural disasters have left parents unable to feed their children or access water.
When the kids go to bed and we just stay in the night talking about how it's very hard to see my kids go to bed with hunger and not having something to give to them.
For over 40 years, Food for the Poor has stood alongside families like these. Gifts of $500 from AM 560 listeners have already provided food for 10 children for an entire year. Now we're asking for your help with the next 4. Your one-time gift of $200 provides life-saving food for 4 children for a year and helps the community get water closer to home. Make your best gift today. Click the red Give Life banner at 560theanswer.com or call 844-862-4673. And we thank you in advance for your generosity.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, what was your biggest moment in 2024? Charles and I discussed that and more after the news.
Good morning. It's 45 degrees in Chicago in the AM 560 The Answer newsroom. I'm Nikki Whaley. Amazon and Starbucks workers are back delivering packages and whipping up holiday drinks. Strikes at both companies have ended without a resolution. Delivery drivers with the Teamsters Union walked off the job at Amazon in several cities over pay and demands that Amazon recognize them as employees. Starbucks Workers United was striking for more than 300 stores over wages and benefits. It's unclear if the strikes had any impact on the bargaining power of the workers. Mayor Brandon Johnson's giving the green light to the creation of an advisory group designed to address violence against trans people, specifically those of color. The panel will be formed by the Chicago Commission on Human Relations and Chicago Police on February 28th. The new group will review the city's policies, procedures, and training related to hate crimes and violence against trans women. In the first 6 months, the advisory group will hold meetings in 3 Chicago neighborhoods to get feedback from the trans community. The panel is also required to come up with a report with recommendations to prevent the murders of trans women. News is a service of Abacus Windows for the discerning homeowner looking for high-quality and professional-level window replacement service. Contact Abacus Windows, your award-winning Platinum Elite Pella certified contractor. Visit valdecast.com. A check of the roads coming up in 2 minutes on AM 560 The Answer.
Seeing crazy things across the country.
The head of the ACLU, Anthony Romero, is talking about how they're going to work with city and local governments to sever their relationships with the federal government. Anthony Romero is talking about widespread secession from the United States.
The Charlie Kirk Show. Afternoons at 1, right before Sebastian Gorka at 3 on AM 560. The Answer.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-839-8484. 800-839-8484. 800-839-8484.
Can you believe it? 2025 is just around the corner. As you count down to the new year, you're probably already thinking about your resolutions. And let's be honest, your well-being has been on top of your list for years. But this year, maintaining your wellness goals is easier than ever with Balance of Nature. Balance of Nature's whole food ingredient supplements have 31 varieties of fruit and vegetable ingredients, from tomatoes to sweet potatoes. No synthetics or added fillers. Finally, a resolution that will be a breeze to keep. Make 2025 the year you feel your best and keep celebrating for years to come.
Happy New Year! Start the year right and get big savings on Balance of Nature supplements with our limited time New Year's deal. Go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer to get 35% off your first preferred set, plus a free fiber and spice supplement. And get this exclusive New Year's offer by using discount code Chicago.
JTV has thousands of jewelry styles and gifts for women and men. Shop on TV or online. Plus, new JTV customers save up to $50 when you shop jtv.com/radio.
Taking a look at the roads from the Team Hochberg Traffic Center.
Outbound Edens at 12, the Kennedy. Inbound, it is 30 minutes from O'Hare into downtown. Outbound side of the Kennedy at 28 to the airport. Eisenhower in at 32 minutes from 390 to Congress. Looks good on the Stevenson in at 30 minutes from 355 to DeSava Lakeshore Drive. Dan Ryan, inbound, it is running 18 minutes from 95th into downtown. Traffic is a service of Trim Light Chicago. Don't let hanging holiday lights get you in a Scrooge mood. 'Tis the season to save time, money, and energy with permanent programmable holiday lighting for your home. Get your free quote today at trimlight-chicago.com. Reporting this morning from the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, I'm Joanne Jeanette.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, but now a quick check of your forecast from the National Weather Service.
Areas of fog to start us off this morning with some occasional rain. Breezy day, high 51. Clouds breezy mild. Rain this evening. Drizzle late tonight, low 45. Spotty drizzle early tomorrow. Cloudy mild. The high tomorrow, 51. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is sponsored by Protecting Your Assets with Steve Shyman. Listen Saturday mornings at 8. Learn more at willsave.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
Welcome back to Chicago's Morning Answer. I'm John Anthony, filling in for Dan Prof, and got my good friend Charles Thomas. I almost called you Charles Love. I almost do that because, you know, Charles and I started Black and Right together. I almost do that every time you come on, either my show or this show. We're filling in for Dan and Amy. I believe they're off on vacation. But Charles, you know,
when you look at all of the moments we had in 2024, Joe Biden dropping out of the race, Kamala Harris becoming top of the ticket, first blackish female presidential candidate. What was your big moment of 2024?
Donald Trump's election.
Yeah.
Re-election, if that's what we can call that. And, it all started in Butler, Pennsylvania, when he got up off the ground, blood running down the side of his face, and he pumped his fist. That appealed to the American spirit. That's who we are.
And because of the three words he said, right?
Yes. But that's who we are as a people. And I think people were drawn to that from all walks to that moment. And I think at that point, I know that I talked to people in Pennsylvania several weeks later, and they were telling me that President Trump was winning by 6-1, 7-1 margin in the small towns and rural areas of Pennsylvania, which was this my information, by the way, came from the Harris campaign on the ground from sources that I have that go back 30 years. And they were very concerned about that. And the same thing happened in Michigan, of course, and in Wisconsin and in Georgia. And Trump was able to overwhelm the liberal big cities in those places with an overwhelming vote in the small towns and rural areas. And it was clear to me that he was going to win. I was mostly concerned about the Democrats stealing the election again with phony ballots and so forth, some of the things that may have happened in 2020. But that was my big concern. There's no way that Donald Trump was supposed to lose the election at that point. So, but it was the biggest story, I think. And there have been worldwide repercussions, by the way.
It has. But, you said it started there. I think the assassination attempt cemented it. I think where Donald Trump really what changed the game in 2024 were the indictments and all and things of that nature. I think that's what got people's attention, and they started seeing Joe Biden and his administration try to take out his opponent before the election even began. And I think that's what started people paying attention, especially as you know this, and we talked about this last time we were on together prior to the election, way back, I think maybe about a year ago, especially in the black community, because the black people it was a lot of discussion. Black people who feel like the justice system is unfair to them, they could relate to Donald Trump, and I think that began a cascading fall of black people starting to say, hey, you know what? Wait a minute. That dude's just like us. What say you?
But, he's just like us because, bottom line, if you give it 30, 45 seconds of thought, black people love this country too.
Right.
They love this country, and I think that appealed to them.
Right.
That, hey, this guy really loves this country.
Yeah.
And he's got all the money in the world, all the money he'd ever need.
Yeah.
Why is he doing this at age 78?
Right. Doesn't have to.
It didn't have to.
Yeah.
But he's doing it anyway because he loves the country. And I think he appealed to that love of country, putting it first.
Right.
I mean, Joe Biden allowed his Justice Department to go crazy and he weaponized it. The man was half awake most of the time.
Right.
All the stuff that they did.
Yeah.
I mean, the way they've screwed up foreign policy in this country, it all came home at that point. I think, and at some point, certainly during the summer, I think, of course, it was the assassination attempt when people realized who loved the country and basically who doesn't.
Yeah, and eggs started becoming $6-7 a dozen too. That starts to affect people in their voting choices as well, Charles. But let's go to the phone lines. Larry from Bartlett, he agrees. Dan Hampton agrees with me. What? Say
Oh,
more.
absolutely. After last Sunday's game, I listened to the Hampton Ed Abradovich show on another station.
Yeah.
And they asked the same question: when the hell are the Bears ever going to run a slant play? They did run one toward the end of the third period when they ultimately had drive for a touchdown. The receiver was, I don't remember his name, the guy they got from San Diego.
Oh, Keenan Allen.
Keenan Allen. Dan Hampton commented that he had heard from a number of players that the reason they don't run slants is that the wide receivers refuse to do it because they don't want to get hit by linebackers.
Whoa. Wow. Really?
If that's true, that's a hell of an accusation against everybody.
That
on
sure
that.
is.
Yeah. I don't see that from Keenan Allen, though. Keenan Allen has taken some abuse. Now, I can see that with DJ Moore, but Keenan Allen, he's taken some abuse over there with the Chargers for many years.
Absolutely.
No
Well,
deep routes either. I mean, you rarely see a deep route unless he's throwing off the back of his foot, running for his life. That's the only time you see him throw the ball deep.
okay.
So-
Well, you guys have a great New Year.
All right. Thank you, Larry. Let's go to Craig from Mount Greenwood. What's up, brother?
Hey, good morning, John and Charles.
Good morning.
I've told you guys before when you guys were on together, and John, it's always really good when you're on there with Amy and all that. And the only way that they can even top that or match that is you and Charles together. You guys are so refreshing to hear, and the way you handle things, and you're not ashamed of the gospel, that basically give honor and glory, just like Trump just did. And that is the point of why I wanted to call. You know, there was all the, it was kind of like rumored or something like that when Trump was in there on his first term. People were saying, yeah, Trump, like he made a profession of faith or something. They were talking about they were bringing the Trump or Pence family, Pence being a real disgrace and really thing, but it involved them in that, and so there was this. It was like if you think of what men of God often say about how easy it is to be saved, it's as easy as ABC. At that time, it was like where Trump, it was rumored that he admitted he was a sinner.
Yep.
And he believed that salvation was in Christ. And that was all in his first term. And here, when he got reelected here, where he gets out and makes that public profession, because that's the C part, ABC. You confess with your mouth before men. You're not ashamed to profess the one you believe in. And he got up on that, publicly, but not just before the nation, before the whole world, and made his confession of that he accepts that Christ is a Savior. And that was so powerful. There's no president in history that ever came anywhere near it or anything. And I really do believe that was the third component of that just easy little acronym of ABC that he was doing publicly. I mean, it was fantastic.
Oh, man. I love it. You know, one of the things I'm not afraid to do is confess my faith and talk about. Because it's my faith that got me through some of the darkest moments of my life, and one of the things I said when I got into radio, Craig, was that I'll always try to be an inspiration, because you just never know, what people are going through, and you just never know behind that smile what lurks beneath that smile of a lot of people, and I'm just not afraid to talk about, my own failures and how I failed. And I think especially at the end of a year, you start thinking about what you want your next year to look like. And I that's one of the reasons why I take a break from radio starting after Thanksgiving, because it's a time of restructuring and getting to determine what I want to do in the next following year and how to go about doing it. And I think, taking that sabbatical from radio really is refreshing for me, and that's why I came back last week and I'm here today, but because I want to talk. I've been quiet since after
John,
Thanksgiving. Yeah,
John, I got to mention something on that point. You stand out above all. Like I call in, I listen to all the different radio stations, and that I'm being 100% honest with you about this. You have stood out above all of, and there's a lot of not a lot, but there's other men that are faithful, and they've understood the truth about the gospel in it, and they'll mention things on radio. But you, above all, have been so clear so many times, and you bring your family into it. You talk about your daughters, and really how you feel, like really come down to a point where the rest of us can really relate to. And I just want to commend you on that, because to the degree it's a sign of basically your faith and basically spiritual strength there, and it's super refreshing, very refreshing,
All right.
brother. And
Thanks,
I appreciate
Craig.
you brothers to do it.
Let me know what it's in the check. I'll send it. All right. Thanks so much, brother. We didn't plan that, Charles. Thanks so
Yeah,
much,
man.
brother. Let's go to Greg from Jefferson Park. Welcome to Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning, John.
Hey.
Charles, always good to
Good
have
morning.
you on. Hey, guys, you know, one of the things that I really appreciated and knew we were on the right direction, I went to that thing here with Tom Homan,
Yes.
which is a walk away from me. And I saw and spoke to for a couple of minutes. George Blakemore was there. And Charles, I know
Love
you
him.
know George.
I love him. I love him.
Yeah.
But, you know, he's a great guy, and I used to talk to him sometimes when I was done at, you know, various hearings, zoning, what have you. And to see him and a bunch of other folks that were downtown, you know, yelling at the mayor about what an idiot he is, and talking about, you know, we need Donald Trump and that. There was a number of people from the south and west sides that were at that meeting with Tom Homan, and it was really refreshing to see people from the black community there. And like you guys said, I mean, you know, they love this country. Donald Trump loves this country. And hopefully we can make things better, and stop these damn wars. I mean, what's going on overseas, and the amount of money we're spending, and the people being killed is horrendous. Anyways, thanks for the time. You guys have a great New Year's, and it's
Thank you.
always
Greg.
always good to hear you.
Yeah, but Greg, before you hang up, listen,
Okay.
Blakemore is an icon for me. He's somebody that I think he gets mistreated a lot. I've been seeing a lot of mistreatment lately of who he is. A lot of people just don't know just how instrumental he's been in Chicago politics. Charles, I know you know this because he's been at all of these meetings, these mayoral, these city hall meetings.
But you know, he's banned on a lot of local media.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They won't put him on.
Yeah. You know, he makes his own clothes too. You know that, right?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he makes his own clothes.
He's a snazzy dresser, man.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that.
Shout out to Blakemore, man.
He's, you know, like you said, I mean, and he remembered me because, you know, a couple times, you know, after a meeting that I was, you know, complaining about whether it was payday loans going into the neighborhood or what have you, you know, he came up to me and introduced himself, and I can't believe he remembered me because I probably haven't seen him in at least 12, 15 years, you know, but he's a great guy, and like you guys said, you know, they push guys like him out.
Yeah.
And it was always refreshing to see George speaking at whatever hearing you were at, because, you know, no matter what people thought of him, oh, he's just a lefty lunatic, or he's a this, or he's a that, it's like, listen to the man,
right?
Okay? Because you're always going to find some wisdom and logic in what he's got to say, and he is a great human being. There's just no question.
I don't know if you're on X, formerly known as Twitter, but there's a group I interviewed on my show Saturday, Flip Chicago Red. Their website is ChicagoFlipsRed.com. Jessica Jackson heads that up along with Zoe and a few other people. That's a great account to follow on X because, you know, George, I really, when you look at it from the perspective, Blakemore really was the pioneer of being what you see in Chicago happening today. You know, Flip Chicago Red, Chicago Red with Patricia Easley and these people. I mean, George Blakemore has been that voice for decades.
Yeah.
You know, so shout out to him. Thanks so much for that call. I really appreciate that, Greg.
No problem. Thank you, guys. Have a good day and a good New Year's.
You
Bye-bye.
as well, Charles. You've probably know him more intimately than I do. I remember as a kid hanging out with him. And
who, Blakemore?
Blakemore.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, as a kid.
Yeah.
I only met him, you know, pretty much in covering City Hall and the county board. He was very active at the county board.
Yeah.
Prior to, he's active everywhere, but the county board is where he pretty much made his bones.
Yeah.
You know, you talked about Flip Chicago Red.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting because it's suggesting that Chicagoans should consider voting Republican.
Yep.
And if I can say this, you know, you hear Joe Biden talk about MAGA Republicans. And I tell you right now, I'm voting for more Republican candidates because I agree with their stance on issues.
Right.
But I would describe myself, a black man.
Uh-oh. Come on.
I am more MAGA than I am Republican.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And that's the deal with Chicago Red.
Yep.
Sometimes I say, they're saying I should vote Republican?
Yep.
Oh, no. I vote MAGA.
Yeah.
I look at the principles that MAGA holds.
Right.
The real principles, not what you hear about on MSNBC
Right.
or CNN.
But you're a black man. You shouldn't adhere to the MAGA platform, the America First agenda.
Yeah, the America First agenda. That, to me, appeals across all groups.
Right.
It's America First.
Right.
It's not about racism, sexism, misogyny, all this business. No, it's about America First.
Right. And I think Trump proved that across the country when you look at winning the popular vote. I think Trump proved that because he built coalitions who ordinarily wouldn't come together. And Trump was that figure who was able to bring all of these factions together to vote for him.
Together in the middle.
Yeah.
Together in the middle. And that's not talking about specific issues, but at least we're on the same page as Americans.
Right.
And I think that's what Donald Trump represents ultimately.
Right.
And if Democrats want to join, fine.
Yeah.
Bring them on.
Right.
Because a lot of them hold the same values as the rest of us.
Yeah.
And so they're welcome.
Right.
Just don't bring that nonsense with you. Bring common sense with you.
Yeah.
And we can all get along fine.
I interviewed Democrat operative Frank Calabrese. I don't know if you know who he is. He works for Democrats, and he came on my show and discussed the numbers in Chicago and Cook County, and especially in black wards. He said Trump outdid himself this time in 2024.
Good.
And because I'm telling you, that, and what we're going to get into the next hour is talking about what's been that driver. What the reason why Tom Homan said what he said about Chicago. We're going to play that audio and we're going to discuss this immigration issue because it's been the driver to bring these factions who ordinarily would never even consider working together. And the Democrats are just clueless about it. It's like, you hear them saying, "Oh, we got to protect the illegal immigrants." When they say that, they don't make a distinction from the criminal element or somebody who really is here to get away from violence and who really want to become who are asylemees, and they don't make that distinction, and that's what they do, and I hope they continue to do it because I really hope that not only flip Chicago red, but flip Illinois red. Charles, I know a lot of people talk about me, say that that'll never happen. I'm telling you, the numbers are there. I know Dan and all those guys say it won't happen in our lifetime. I'm of the belief that it will. We got to go to break, Charles, but I really want to get into the discussion about this immigration issue and what Tom Homan and Donald Trump are going to do come 2025. You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer. Bob, hold the line. We'll take your call. Hour 2.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
So right now may be the perfect time for you to rethink how you pay for health care. And here's why. This time of year is decision time for a lot of people, but it's also when you can join Medishare and save even more than usual. For many families, joining Medishare means saving about $500 a month, which is a game changer for a lot of people, obviously. But what's more, Medishare members like it a lot. Their satisfaction rate is 98%. Imagine that. And Medishare is a proven thing, too, for over 30 years. It's a Christian community of hundreds of thousands of people now. And here's the thing. If you join before December 31st and you mention the promo code SHARE, they'll waive your application fee, so you save even more right off the bat. I'll give you the number here in a second, but just call and you'll get a price within 2 minutes. And again, the deadline is December 31st. So call now and you'll save even more. Here's the number. 844-47-BIBLE. That's 844-47-BIBLE. 844-47-BIBLE.
At Signature Bank, going the distance for business banking customers is what we do every day. We understand that business owners have a strategic mission, a drive to succeed, a plan for growth, and don't have time to wait for a bank to respond. With Signature Bank, you not only have a banking partner that has roots right here in Chicago, but our decisions are made locally too. Signature Bank knows that when you have a question or problem about your business, you want answers. You need someone who will pick up the phone or respond to your text. You need someone who is always there for you. That's Signature Bank. We are a team that wants to get to know you and your business. Want to be Signature Bank's next success story? Give us a call today at 773-467-5630 or visit us online at signaturebank.bank. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
As we near the end of the year, many families in Latin America and the Caribbean are struggling just to get by. Inflation, food shortages, and natural disasters have left parents unable to feed their children or access water.
When the kids go to bed and we just stay in the night talking about how it's very hard to see my kids go to bed with hunger and not having something to give to them.
For over 40 years, Food for the Poor has stood alongside families like these. Gifts of $500 from AM 560 listeners have already provided food for 10 children for an entire year. Now we're asking for your help with the next 4. Your one-time gift of $200 provides life-saving food for 4 children for a year and helps the community get water closer to home. Make your best gift today. Click the red Give Life banner at 560theanswer.com or call 844-862-4673. And we thank you in advance for your generosity.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, we talked to Pastor Lorenzo Sewell from Detroit in the 6 o'clock hour. You listen to AM 560 The Answer, WIND, Chicago.
A close call. I'm Paul Stevens, Fox News. Southeast Texas breathing a sigh of relief after no lives were lost in a series of tornadoes on Thursday.
There's a tornado right there. I know. I told you.
That one in El Campo, Texas. Abigail Dye, Fox TV affiliate KRIV in Houston.
Video after video shows the tornadoes that made their way through Wharton County.
There's a tornado.
It was just a normal day, normal operations, placing pallets outside. All of a sudden, the roof gets sucked off of the forklift. The notification goes off on my phone. I'm like, okay, wow, there's a tornado coming.
But you were sitting in the forklift when this happened?
I was driving the forklift, yeah. So this is gonna be what was a glass. Just glad it wasn't me in a whole forklift.
This twister just off Highway 59 left some damage behind it. Barns off County Road 405 taking that hit. Reed, whose family owns the farm, says it's not something that you see every day in El Campo.
And again, no injuries reported. Meantime, folks in North Carolina are still rebuilding their homes after they were destroyed earlier in the year by Hurricane Helene. One group is stepping up to make things happen.
Green Mountain, North Carolina is still mourning the loss of Stephen and Elena Ayers, a couple in their 30s who died in their home during the catastrophic flooding caused by Hurricane Helene. Operation Anchor has made it their mission to rebuild their home. But their legacy will live on. Once completed, the residence will become a safe haven where families who lost their own home can live.
All the destruction, house after house piled up.
The small mountain town lost 27 homes, and they are desperate for help. Operation Anchor plans to continue rebuilding the community. Stephen Lambert, vice president of the group, says a 1,400 square foot home costs $42,000 for the foundation and shell. Supplies are being donated.
And that's Fox's Dana Marie McNichol. America's listening to Fox News.
Good morning. It's 44 degrees in Chicago in the AM 560 The Answer newsroom. I'm Nikki Whaley. President-elect Trump's border czar says protecting children is the main driver behind the expected zero-tolerance border policy. Tom Homan says that the Biden administration put thousands of kids at risk with lax border enforcement policies.
What they did is harming hundreds of thousands of children. And I tell you right now, some of these children we're never going to find.
The Department of Homeland Security Office of Inspector General reported at least 300,000 illegal children basically disappeared off the radar during the Biden-Harris administration. Homan says that many are sold into sex trafficking and will never be found again. Whooping cough cases in the U.S. are at the highest level seen in a decade. Cases have been skyrocketing for months, with the CDC warning that there's no sign of a slowdown. The Federal Health Agency says more than 32,000 cases have been reported this year through mid-December, 6 times more than last year at this time. Pennsylvania is reporting the most cases. The disease is highly contagious and often starts out with cold-like symptoms, followed by a full-body cough that can last for months. Children under the age of 1 are the most at risk, with the CDC advising that DTaP vaccine offers the best protection. Authorities have raised the reward to $20,000 for tips and leads to an arrest in a Gage Park mass shooting that killed 3 people and injured 6 others on December 2nd. The shooting occurred during a gathering in the 3500 block of West 59th Street. The ATF and the Chicago police are urging the public to assist in identifying those responsible for the brazen afternoon attack. This news update is quick delivered by Quick Delivery Service. When you need reliable same-day delivery to clients, Quick Delivery will customize a logistics plan to pick it up and move it safely to its destination. Trust their 40 years of experience for peace of mind. Get a quote at quickdelivery.com. A check of the roads coming up in 2 minutes on AM 560 The Answer.
Mike Gallagher sees relief coming.
Everything that is good about our country, they despise. They are anti-God. They are anti-patriotism. They are anti-law and order. They're anti-family. And finally, we got some normalcy coming back to the country.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on singlecare.com, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to singlecare.com or download the free app today.
Did you know your life insurance is an asset you can sell? I'm Jay Jackson, CEO of Abacus Life. For almost 20 years, Abacus has been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors just like you. And at abacuspays.com, we've created a free policy value calculator so you can find out the worth of your policy in just seconds. There are no fees and no obligations. Get real value from your life insurance when you need it with Abacus. Learn more at abacuspays.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies supplements, changing the world one life at a time.
You know, balance of nature is becoming pretty important out there to a lot of people. And when I first started, I was really impressed. I'm a healthcare professional, trained as a pharmacist. So anything that's natural I like. And so it made a lot of sense.
Happy New Year! Start the year right and get big savings on Balance of Nature supplements with our limited time New Year's deal. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer to get 35% off your first preferred set, plus a free fiber and spice supplement with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this exclusive New Year's offer by using discount code Chicago.
Let's take a look at the roads from the Team Hawkesburg Traffic Center.
I see road conditions reported in Lyons on 1st Street. This is between 47th and the Stevenson. Road work in Bensonville on York Road between Supreme Drive and Devon. It's reducing the roadway down to 1 lane. A crash in Bensonville at York and Green Street. Edens, it's okay inbound. 16 minutes from Lake Cook to Montrose. Starting to build on the Kennedy at 30 from O'Hare into downtown. The Stevenson. The inbound side is starting to build from Ashland to the Dan Ryan. 34 minutes from 355 to DeSaba Lakeshore Drive. Traffic is a service of Balance of Nature fruits and veggies in a capsule. Save 35% off your first preferred order with promo code Chicago. Order online at balanceofnature.com and use coupon code Chicago to save 35% as a preferred customer. Hurry, offer ends soon. Reporting this morning from the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, I'm Joanne Jeanette.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, but now a quick check of your forecast from the National Weather Service.
It's a fog this morning, rain, breezy and a high 51. Cloudy, breezy, and mild. Periods of rain this evening. Drizzle late tonight, though 45. Spotty drizzle early tomorrow. Cloudy, breezy, and mild, the high 51. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Health Quest Radio with Dr. David Kolbaba. Saturday mornings at 11. Visit healthquestradio.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Chicago. I'm John Anthony, host of Black and White Radio, heard every Saturday right here on these airways from 4 to 7 p.m. in for Dan Proft and my good friend, former ABC 7 reporter extraordinaire, Charles Thomas.
Former.
Well, I said former.
Good.
Yeah,
Good.
look at you. Get hey.
Well, I didn't hear you, man.
Really?
I'm an old guy. I got failing hearing. I got Costco hearing aids. Come on.
Oh my God. I see the boots off your foot now. That's a good thing.
Well, yeah, but that's a conversation for another time.
Okay, just not on the air, right? Is that what you're saying to us?
Not on the air. HIPAA rules.
Okay. No! We won't go there, dude. I just thought you might have, got attacked because you had your MAGA hat on and, you did the commercials for Darren Bailey and all that type of stuff. I thought the Chicagoans might have attacked you or something like that. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, look, I am under attack. I am persona non grata.
Yeah.
In the mainstream media where I worked for nearly 50 years, including about 30 here in Chicago, but they don't come near me because I'm one of those people now. I got canceled everywhere but here.
Yeah, hey, Hoff Daddy's in on the board today. We got to get that clip from Kevin Hart. He was talking to Don Cheadle. Don Cheadle talked about his age. He was like, "Damn, we need that. Right. I need that," because when he said 50 years. You old, man.
Damn.
We got to get that Kevin Hart clip that's it's still one of the funniest interviews that I've heard. And John Cheadle looked at him like, what why you say that, Kevin?
Why you say that, John? I had Dan do that to me one morning.
What's that?
He looked at me, he said, "How old are you?" 50 years?
Yeah, that's a long time, man. You started young, though, right?
Yeah, I mean, 19. Actually, I started when I was in high school.
Wow.
I had my own newspaper in high school, late 60s, and then graduated from Mizzou in 1973. But I was one of the fortunate people who was able to work in the profession for which I studied, and been all over the country doing it.
Yeah,
took me to 5 of the 7 continents. ABC News, which is another story today. Here I sit at the zenith.
Me, I'm 56 years old.
Damn. Here it is.
You found that quick. That's good.
Hoff Daddy. Dude,
you got that locked and loaded.
But did you hear how hard he said the damn? As we're waiting for Pastor Sewell to come online, you weren't at Freedom Summit this year, but that's okay. We won't hold that against you.
Hold it against me, man. Yeah. I was probably out of town or something.
Yeah, but you missed. I did they graduated me to the big room.
To the big room.
Yeah, I felt a little important, just a little important, because I was in the main room, and I did a panel with Pastor Corey Brooks and. I'm telling you, Charles, this guy, he's dynamic. And when he comes on the line, you'll see what I mean by
this. I've heard him before.
Oh, so you've heard Pastor
I've heard him before,
Lorenzo Sewell.
Yeah.
I had the opportunity to he came in, and he had church the next morning. So, I'm always grateful for people that do stuff like this. He came in and he rocked the mic. Now, this is the same guy who Trump came to his church in Michigan. Right. I believe it's called 180 Church. Trump came there, and it just, I mean, he's always been involved. He posted some pictures of him and Candace Owens. I had no idea that there was a link between Pastor Lorenzo Sewell and Candace Owens, but I wanted him to come on today to talk about, you know, Trump's victory in Detroit, because he was one of the factors. Pastor Sewell was one of the factors as to why Trump did so well in Michigan. But I also wanted him to come on and offer words of encouragement for people as they head into 2025, because if you've been in a room with this guy, being on radio is, I mean, it doesn't do him justice, because he's so full of love, he's so full of life, and so much, and he's so passionate. Charles, joining us today, Pastor, you there?
I'm here. I'm Holy Ghost humbled to be there with you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Before we get into all what's happening in Detroit and things of that nature, talk to me about this Candace Owens. I had no idea you were connected with Candace Owens.
That was the very first time I was ever invited to a Republican gathering in Michigan, specifically Shelby Township proper. It was the Macomb County Republican Party. One of my elders, he invited me there, and you got to imagine this, right? I'm the only other black guy in the room. Republicans thought I was a Democratic spy. I mean, it was hilarious.
Been there. I've been there, done that, trust me.
Yeah.
I had no idea who Candace Owens was. So when I met her, my exact words to her were, "You are a hero."
Wow.
And I'm praying for you. And when she spoke that night, she just was so logical, and I would dare say anointed. And you could feel shackles being broken. You could feel yokes being destroyed. You could literally feel the spiritual trajectory change from white America to black America as it pertains to this conservative movement. And I literally knew very little about her, but what I did know about her, I could sense the anointing and the calling of God on her life. She's a modern day Esther. She is literally a modern day Esther.
Amen to that. Now let's talk to Detroit. Michigan. Trump wins Michigan, man. Talk to us. How did that happen? I know when he came to your church, I know you talked about you at Freedom Summit. We didn't really get into that portion, but I know backstage you and I talked about it. How did Trump win Michigan, and what was your role in that?
It was amazing, and I'm so humbled that the Lord will allow us to be a part of it. He won Michigan by 80,000 votes. He had in Detroit over 20,000 votes, which is almost 4 times the amount what he had in 2016 when he won Michigan. So if you look at the margin of victory, Black Americans contributed to 25% of the margin of victory in Detroit. And quite frankly, we did it through education. Every Friday night, we do something called Souls to the Polls, where we have one-on-one political prayer, praise, and discourse. And people were asking questions such as, how can he be a felon and go for president? Why is he considered a racist? People were asking questions like that, and we were answering those questions by letting people know before President Donald Trump was ever a Republican, he was never considered a racist, right? He was never a racist until he became a Republican. In terms of felonies, we let people know he wasn't a felon until he became a Republican. And people in our community, they begin to understand, and I had to let other black conservatives know that we're not from Detroit. Black people don't need barbecues. We don't need athletes. We don't need actors to come and talk to us about politics. We need people that have political prowess to lay down the data to us so we can understand our intellectual capital, that we are stakeholders. We are not donors to the American, this great American project. That black people, we are stakeholders, and it's our job to hold our elected officials accountable. And people, they were literally coming to my church asking for Trump signs. You got to imagine that, right? I'm in the middle of the hood, and people, black men specifically, would come, and, you got to picture me. I look to the left, I look to the right. I say, I don't know, maybe I do have one. And I go in the basement and go and grab a Trump sign.
So Detroit is MAGA country.
Right. It was awesome. It was real fun.
Hey, Pastor, it's Charles Thomas, the co-host du jour. I spend a lot of time in Southwest Michigan.
Sure.
And I'm noticing that a lot of the issues that urban black people have are the same issues that rural white people have, who are characterized as the classic MAGA voter.
Sure.
These issues are the same that people face, and I think that's a big driver for what happened in Detroit.
Absolutely. And I believe the only difference with Detroit is Detroit's the largest voting block. So quite frankly, it's easy for elections to be stolen. And our elections, just to be very transparent with you, the city of Detroit said 246,303 people voted. But our community understood that there has been election integrity issues ever since 2017 with Lieutenant Garland Gilchrist. So we went to go and buy the voter rolls. We went and we purchased those voter rolls. And there were only 195,000 people on those voter rolls. So 50,000 people are still missing, and there are people that voted for President Trump in my church that were not on the voter rolls. So we know that there is still skullduggery. We know that there are still malfeasance. We know that we're asking for a congressional hearing from Congress. We're also asking for our city council to subpoena folks. Because our community, we want our vote to matter. And that's where you see Royal America is a little bit different than us because we're the largest voting bloc in Michigan, Detroit proper is.
Wow. How big of an issue was immigration in Michigan, Detroit area? Was that an issue that drove the people out to vote for Donald Trump?
Absolutely. We had people in our community, specifically in Detroit proper, that were saying to me, Pastor, let us take the church bus out of the country, come back in illegally, because illegals are getting better treatment than us.
Yeah.
And our church, we had 28 Venezuelans coming, and we gave, we're a church, right? So we still care for people regardless of their plight and their pain. So
as you should. 28
Venezuelans, we were caring for them, and those are resources, quite frankly, that did not go to our community.
Wow. Well, I want to get your take. Tom Homan, who's going to be basically Trump's border czar, he was at America Fest. Charlie Kirk's. I don't know. Were you there? Were you at America Fest?
Yeah, I was there. I had the honor to be there as well. Yeah.
I wish I was there, but I want to get your take, and then after that, I would love for you to give words of encouragement to the people that are listening as it relates to the end of this year and the beginning of next year. And if you want, you can pray as well. Yeah, probably going to be the first time somebody's allowed a prayer on Chicago's Morning Answer, but no, it's not. Okay. I want you to get Tom Homan's take, what he said about Chicago, and I think other cities and state, beware.
That's where Tom Homan's going to be day one. Chicago, Illinois. You don't want me there? Come get me. The people of Chicago have spoken. I went there a few weeks ago. The black community's upset. The whole community's upset because violent crime is up, and millions of dollars in public services are being given to people who are not supposed to be here. Meanwhile, the tax-paying community that is in a bad way because the Biden administration's economic plans, they're getting robbed every day by giving millions of dollars to people that aren't supposed to be here.
Basically what you just said. That's the sentiment. I mean, that's what's happening here in Chicago. As I mentioned earlier, you got groups like Flip Chicago Red who are saying the exact same thing about and these areas are mostly driven or controlled by Democrat operatives.
Yes, they are. And let me be clear. I pastor Latinos. I pastor people in my congregation, quite frankly, who don't have their citizenship. I just want to be very transparent. And it is very difficult to get people's citizenship in the right way. Right? It's very expensive. And what I'm hearing from my congregation is, Pastor, we do not want people in our country illegally. We do not want them there. We want them out.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm hearing, right? So for me, it's more than just a political conversation. It's a spiritual conversation because people that came here the right way, that are waiting for their citizenship, right, they're being pushed back out of the line, and that's where we have the balance as it pertains to illegal immigration.
Yeah. See, my thing is, I think there's a humanity aspect to this. I think we go after those people who are criminals. We go after the people. I mean, you look at what happened in New York in the subway. That's being alleged that there was a illegal immigrant who set fire to that lady that was in the guy who got his wrist sliced. I mean, the young Laken Riley, who was shot, who was raped and murdered. I mean, you see, there's so many accounts of this. Go after because all the people that Venezuelan, they empty their prisons, they empty their mental health hospitals. Find them. We know where they are because they get money. Send them back right away. That's job one, day one. What do you say?
No, I agree. I think people that are in the country that are not here legally, obviously we need to make sure that they have a mass exodus out of the country. And then those who are here that have not committed crimes, I believe our country is the greatest country in the world, that God will give us wisdom, but we got to take one step at a time, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And the first step is we got to deal with those who are quite frankly criminals, and they're not making America great again, so to speak.
Yeah. But I've always said I personally believe it's going to be the immigrant that saves America. I still believe that, because especially a lot of these immigrants that come from these countries where the isms are, socialism, communism, and I believe they're going to fight back against that. But I want to talk about you now. I mean, what you're doing, the work that you're doing in Detroit. I know a lot of the people that listen to our station now are I've seen some of them show up on your live feed on Sunday. But talk about Lorenzo. When you look at what you've come through, and I want you to segue that into just giving words of encouragement to people that are listening to the show.
Yeah, who am I? Born and raised on the east side of Detroit, mentored by murderers, student on the street, grew up in a domestic violent household. My little brother was killed when he was 13 and I was 18 in a bike car accident. My dad is in prison for murder. And I have always voted Republican because I had a mighty encounter with Jesus Christ. But I'm in a Democratic stronghold, and quite frankly, I've always reached out to Democrats for help, but never, ever have received it. Our community has been up under Democratic strongholds for 6 decades, and the Bible says that God hears the cries of those who are in bondage. And it was President Donald Trump, out of all the people that God would select to come to Detroit, Michigan, right? You have the 45th and now the 47th president of the United States of America that would come and, quite frankly, offer Black America a life raft, a life preserver, give us attention, invite us to the table. Then he would give me an opportunity to preach at the RNC. Literally, I've been all over the country lifting up the name of Jesus. And quite frankly, John, that's what this is about. And for all those that are listening right now, I want to let you know that the name of Jesus changes everything, regardless of where you are religiously or spiritually. Take it from a kid who the data and the statistics should say I should be in jail or I should be literally in the graveyard somewhere, how Jesus can use someone like me to lift up his name all over the country. And I wish I could tell you about the next thing that we're doing, but you're going to hear about it soon. How about I say this? It's on January 20th. I'll just put it out there like that.
Oh!
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, we got some exciting stuff happening there. So I just want to encourage those, right, who have given up, those that would say, my son, my daughter, addicted to drugs like I was, perhaps your dad is in prison, your family is falling apart. I want to let you know that in 2025, God is going to make things come alive. He is going to take the dead bones in the valley. He's going to take those things that you've looked at in the graveyard. And he, by the power of his spirit, he is going to bring life to those again. And I know you may feel like, Pastor, my relationships are falling apart. My finances are falling apart. I don't understand why I'm going through this. I want to encourage you that 2025 is the year that Jesus is going to make those things come alive. Is it okay for me to pray right now, John?
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Father, in the name of Jesus, I pray for those that are hurting, those that are broken, those that are bruised. Father, I pray in Jesus' name for those during this Christmas season are going through anxiety and depression. Heavenly Father, I ask in the name of Jesus that you might take the broken heart and heal it, that you may take the confused mind and speak peace to it, that you would take the bruised and broken family and reconcile them together again. Allow the prodigal son to come back home again. Father, would you allow between now and the end of this year the prayers of your people to come to pass? Because, Lord, I know if you did it for somebody like me, you can do it for anybody because you're an awesome God. So would you reach out to us even today for every listener? That's our prayer. In Jesus' name, amen.
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 Pastor, how can people find you? How can they follow you? How can they give to your cause and everything that you're doing up there in Detroit?
So it's 180 Church, 180church.cc. That's our website. And I'm on Instagram, so it's Lorenzo, Lorenzo. Last name Sewell, Sewell.
Man, I can't wait to read the book, brother. I'm sure that's coming too.
Yeah.
That's in the works too. I cannot wait.
It's on the 19th.
All right.
Yeah, we're going to have it come out on the 19th. So, yeah, some exciting news about the inauguration that I can't officially say yet. So, some exciting news there, too.
Okay. Well, I got some exciting news I can't talk about either. And I'm so happy. I'm so happy that you're going to be a part of my great news, too. So, are we teasing enough? Pastor, I love you, brother. I'm so glad that God allowed our paths to cross. If I can just be just a quarter of the man that you are, when I'm said and done, I really believe I'll hear the words "well done" as I enter the pearly gate. So I really appreciate you, brother. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, and he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
As we near the end of the year, many families in Latin America and the Caribbean are struggling just to get by. Inflation, food shortages, and natural disasters have left parents unable to feed their children or access water.
When the kids go to bed and we just stay in the night talking about how it's very hard to see my kids go to bed with hunger and not having something to give to them.
For over 40 years, Food for the Poor has stood alongside families like these. Gifts of $500 from AM 560 listeners have already provided food for 10 children for an entire year. Now we're asking for your help with the next 4. Your one-time gift of $200 provides life-saving food for 4 children for a year and helps the community get water closer to home. Make your best gift today. Click the red Give Life banner at 560theanswer.com or call 844-862-4673. And we thank you in advance for your generosity.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on singlecare.com, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to singlecare.com or download the free app today.
Did you know your life insurance is an asset you can sell? I'm Jay Jackson, CEO of Abacus Life. For almost 20 years, Abacus has been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors just like you. And at abacuspays.com, we've created a free policy value calculator so you can find out the worth of your policy in just seconds. There are no fees and no obligations. Get real value from your life insurance when you need it with Abacus. Learn more at abacuspays.com.
Balance of Nature supplements, changing the world one life at a time.
I take it because it makes me feel good. I mean, so that's why I take it.
My husband is over the moon about it, so I'm reordering.
I feel better.
He's been on it for 8 months, if not longer. He took it for a while, for like 3 or 4 months, and then he stopped taking it. And then once he stopped taking it, he was like, I need that back again. So we started doing it again. But I'm telling you what, it's amazing stuff. It truly, truly is.
Happy New Year! Start the year right and get big savings on Balance of Nature supplements with our limited time New Year's deal. Go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer to get 35% off your first preferred set, plus a free fiber and spice supplement with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this exclusive New Year's offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
Good morning. It's 44 degrees in Chicago in the AM 560 The Answer newsroom. I'm Nikki Whaley. Some aviation experts are saying a Russian air defense system shot down an airliner that crashed in Kazakhstan on Christmas. The crash killed 38 of the 67 people on board. A spokesman for Russian President Vladimir Putin said Thursday it's wrong to speculate until an investigation is completed. Amazon and Starbucks are back delivering packages and whipping up holiday drinks. This after strikes at both companies ended without a resolution. The Chicago Teachers Union voiced frustration Thursday over stalled contract talks with Chicago Public Schools. After days of progress, CPS presented only one proposal, slowing momentum. Tensions rose after a judge ruled CPS CEO Pedro Martinez could continue leading negotiations despite its efforts to remove him. CTU warned a strike remains possible if talks don't advance. Negotiations resume today. News is a service of Abacus Windows. For the discerning homeowner looking for high-quality and professional-level window replacement service, contact Abacus Windows, your award-winning Platinum Elite Pella certified contractor. Visit Valdecast.com. A check of the roads coming up in 2 minutes on AM 560 The Answer.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on singlecare.com, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to singlecare.com or download the free app today.
Did you know your life insurance is an asset you can sell? I'm Jay Jackson, CEO of Abacus Life. For almost 20 years, Abacus has been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors just like you. And at abacuspays.com, we've created a free policy value calculator so you can find out the worth of your policy in just seconds. There are no fees and no obligations. Get real value from your life insurance when you need it with Abacus. Learn more at abacuspays.com.
Ad paid for by Anthem Tax Services. Attention! If you or your business is behind in filing your tax returns, or if you owe over $10,000 in back taxes to the IRS, please listen carefully. The IRS does not joke around and will not stop their collection efforts. If you're tired of the IRS letters, levies, liens, or wage garnishments and would like to get a fresh start, we can help. Due to the financial hardships in the country, the IRS is making it easier than ever to settle tax problems for those who owe more than $10,000. We can help settle your delinquent tax problems, end all collections, and may even reduce your back taxes significantly. Even if you can't afford to pay your back taxes, you can still get the help you need. We've helped thousands of taxpayers just like you, but you must call 800-216-0307 today to stop your tax problem from getting worse. The information is free and the help is real. Call 800-216-0307. That's 800-216-0307. Again, 800-216-0307.
If you're self-employed and purchase your own health insurance, I have some great news. From now until January 15th, the health insurance exchanges are open again. And even if you've never qualified for a health insurance subsidy before, you most likely will now. The American Rescue Plan expanded subsidy eligibility to millions of Americans who have never qualified before, even to those with high income levels. And this year, you can purchase a PPO policy, which includes access to Northwestern Medical Group. Employers who provide small group coverage also have new options, and so do seniors looking for Medicare supplement coverage. Call me. I can help.
If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Obamacare, then you need a local expert on your side. C. Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 30-year licensed broker who's been educating our listeners for more than 10 years. Steve, how can our listeners get in touch with you?
Thanks, Dan. They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551. 630-674-1551.
Struggling with high cloud hosting costs and endless management headaches with your Microsoft Azure or AWS environment? Contact AmericanEagle.com for an assessment and see how they can save you time and money.
Let's take a look at the roads from the Team Hawkburg Traffic Center.
I-80 westbound in Will County, already stop and go from I-55 to Shepley. Building on the Tri-State 294 North from the Reagan to the Ike. On the Kennedy in, you're hitting the brakes from Fullerton to Armitage. From O'Hare into downtown, 34 minutes. To Stevenson inbound, it's a little slow from Cicero to Pulaski. Into the city from the Veterans Tollway, a 36-minute trip. This report is sponsored by work.illinois.gov. Jobs that work toward a greener world have top-tier benefits and offer real work-life balance. From a state job? Really? Really? The Illinois EPA is hiring. Find really great careers at work.illinois.gov. That's work.illinois.gov. Reporting this morning from the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, I'm Joanne Jeanette.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, but now a quick check of your forecast from the National Weather Service.
Areas of fog to start us off this morning with some occasional rain. Breezy day, high 51. Clouds breezy mild. Rain this evening. Drizzle late tonight, low 45. Spotty drizzle early tomorrow. Cloudy mild. The high tomorrow, 51. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment brought to you by Unleash Your Wealth with Raj Shah and Rick Borick this Saturday at 7 a.m. and 2 p.m. Learn more at scwealthadvisors.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
Oh, let that breathe. Yeah. Country twang and blues twang. I like this.
You ain't black.
Oh, I know. I'm blackish. Welcome back to Chicago's Morning Answer. I'm John Anthony, filling in for Dan Prof and my good pal, former, you hear that emphasis on that word? Former ABC 7 reporter.
Yeah, they disown
Charles
me.
Thomas.
You're blackish.
You're blackish.
Yeah.
Man, I've heard it all, man.
Yeah, somebody call me that.
Yeah. Really?
Oh, yeah, man. When they hear that, I want to make America great again, they say, you ain't black.
Charles, over the weekend, but you know what? Bob's been holding. Let's get Bob off the line. Bob from Buffalo Grove, what's up, brother? Thanks so much for holding.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for getting to me. Good to hear you, John and Charles.
Good morning.
Morning.
Hopefully we'll hear you next week, too, because I hear they're off.
If they're off, I'll be in. Maybe Charles will, too.
Yeah, I'll give them a day.
Okay, flashback to the previous hour. I agree with you guys. Trump was number one big issue. Two was, of course, the assassination. But here's number three, and fast forward now to what's taking place right now, is the restructuring of both parties. Like you addressed, Charles, it's not the Republican Party, it's the MAGA Party. And I'm seeing a fracturing of the Democratic Party, that a lot of the people of color, minorities or whatever, are getting disenfranchised. The key issue is immigration.
Yeah.
And the people within the Democratic Party, the power brokers, are totally out of touch with their constituents. So it's going to be interesting this coming year to see how these two parties restructure.
Yeah, I agree.
There's a huge issue, but I mean, the Democrat Party in Cook County and Chicago is in utter chaos.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people of color, people of whatever, they're all seeing how confused and chaotic the Democrat Party is in Cook County and Chicago.
Yeah, and you know what? The Latino population, what they just did to Pedro over at CPS, the CEO, what they just did to him, there's another split or fraction in the fracture in the Democrat Party, because I really wanted to get her on, Alderman's woman Silvana Taveras. I wanted to have her on to talk about that, because she was upset the way they went about breaking up Chicago. Basically firing him. Brandon Johnson opening up the school board positions and putting up pretty much all of his people. I know a few of the people that are on there too. One I know very, very well. I won't say who, because I don't want her to get attacked, because she's like family to me. But I know her very closely, and I'm telling you, what he's done. Stacey Davis Gates is now the new mayor.
Right, and the thing is, they talk about democracy all the time, but they've turned the government over to a labor union. Yeah. I got no problem with labor unions, believe me, but they don't need to be running our government.
No.
And the evidence that I saw of it most clearly was when they tried to pass his budget.
Right.
And they did not have the connections, the political wherewithal to do that. Why not? Because they're a labor union. They're not a political. They don't know politics that well, where they can deal with 50 award aldermen. No, but
the threat of a primary is
pretty much all they can, push before these older people.
And also think about what's going on in the south suburbs now with this Mayor Tiffany Inyard.
Yeah.
How Tony Preckwinkle, as chairman of the party, is allowing that kind of chaos to continue. Tony Preckwinkle she's 78, 79 years old now. I think she's near the end, but she's lost control.
Yeah.
Lost control of the party and handed it over to the unions. The Madigan, Burke, Daley people, I don't know where they are. They're out to pasture. But, you look at what's happening now and you say, wow, Rahm Emanuel was a pretty effective mayor.
Yeah. Lori Lightfoot. Think about that.
Lori Lightfoot? No, I don't know.
Better than this guy.
But better than this guy. Exactly. And Tony has presided over all of this.
Mm-hmm.
And she needs to go sit down at this point.
Right.
I mean, she served, but it's over. I don't know who's going to bring it back together.
We were actually going to talk about this subject in the with a guest coming on, but I'll bring Don from Batavia. I actually had this information that I was going to use with a guest, but you saying that Ramaswamy and Musk want to increase immigration is?
That's absolutely right.
Yeah.
Look at the conversation on X.
Yeah, Laura Loomer.
It's far beyond that. Yeah. Elon and Vivek want to import far more people from India and China so that we can compete with India and China because they complain we do not have the best and brightest. We need more engineers. So we're going to be a nation of importing people again so that we can be making America great. But we need to talk about why we cannot employ the physicists and engineers who are already here. I'm a space physicist.
Don, they're not talking.
I'm not employed.
They're talking about people who bring something to the table. These are engineers and scientists
I am a
and
space
such.
plasma physicist and solar radio astronomer.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, good for you. My goodness. But I do.
So we're going to raise 1,000 Americans to be physicists. And then because we have to have labor protections so we can eat, we have to import people from India and China to replace us.
Right.
And then those 1,000 American physicists are going to be on welfare.
Right.
They'll be on welfare, you think? Or will you think that the ones who are coming
unemployed
are on welfare?
Unemployed. They won't be able to get jobs. People in tech and science already cannot get jobs in America because of the constant influx of immigrants.
Yeah, but do you think the reason why is because when you look at our education system, we're not raising up enough physicists, and we're not raising up enough because we
have plenty of PhD physicists and engineers, but we aren't hiring them because we're importing
I did not know that.
immigrants.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, Don. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it.
You know, I see it in my neighborhood.
I know, George.
I live in the West Loop, and I see where the new immigrants, particularly those from Venezuela, they are pressuring the housing market at the bottom.
Right.
I mean, there were already poor people struggling, trying to find a place to live in Chicago, and now you have 40, 50, 75,000 maybe people who have come here in the past few years who are pushing up the price of that low-income housing. It's not affecting me. It's not affecting anybody in Wilmette,
right,
or in Lincoln Park,
or the North Shore,
It's people in South Shore, who are being pressured because those apartments are the ones that migrants must have. They have to start at the bottom.
Right.
So the bottom is where the problem is. And a lot of the people are who have come here, they're carpenters, bricklayers, roofers. They are taking jobs from Americans.
And of course, it's cheap labor, right?
Cheap labor.
Yeah, it's about the money.
I will tell you, man, I can find somebody to paint my house for a third.
Yes, you can.
Of what an American would charge.
Just go to Home Depot.
That's all you got to do.
They're sitting right out there in Home Depot.
And they're qualified and they're good people.
Yeah.
But come on. Why take an American's job like that? I mean, why do that?
Because we have no leadership here in this country. We haven't had leadership the last 4 years. They've allowed this country to go to waste. And you know, and when you look at who was in charge from our side of the aisle, at least I'll say the Republican side of the aisle, who pushed back against any of it? Mitch McConnell didn't.
Yeah.
What's the name in the House? Mike Johnson has it.
And when we hear the critics use the word elites, that the elites want this, we're not talking about billionaires.
Right.
We're talking about people who live in Wilmette and in Glencoe and in Hinsdale. These are the elites we're talking about,
right,
who think that these illegal immigrants, we should invite them or welcome them because their jobs aren't going to be threatened, their homes aren't going to be threatened. All they need is somebody to cut the grass for $50 less than they're charging.
Blake Moore on YouTube hit the nail on the head. We don't have enough skilled technical people because everybody's getting their DEI diplomas. I think and there's a lot of truth to that, Charles. When you look at some of these classes that these kids, I was looking at my daughter's, what she had to choose from picking her college classes. I'm like, what the heck is this? What does this have to do with the degree that you're pursuing?
Nothing. It's
absolutely
money.
Nothing.
You pay for that credit hour.
Yeah. I mean that's why I'm a huge proponent of destroying, annihilating the Department of Education. Let education be a states' right issue from state college
Absolutely.
on down. Let it be a states' rights issue. Get the federal government out of indoctrinating kids around the country. I'm all for that. Ronald Reagan. I was listening on the way in. Larry Elder was talking about how some guy wrote a book about how the Reagan Revolution failed as it related to getting rid of the Department of Education. I think a lot of people had a problem because of Project 2025, that was one of its key components. I'm all for it, Charles.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we particularly in black neighborhoods in Chicago, where you have these mostly empty buildings that CPS keeps open, and you have, of course, the math scores and reading scores that are way below. We need to return education to the neighborhoods.
Yeah.
Let the neighborhoods decide whether or not they want their children to take on some of these new their schools to take on these new cultural issues, like what is a man, what is a woman, all that business.
Right.
Pronouns and such.
Right.
Most people don't want that in their public schools.
Yeah.
So give them a choice. If you want it in your public schools, we'll go over there.
Right. I'm going to look for it. I saw a report, America's standing in education prior to creating the formation of the Department of Education. We were elite. We had elite education until we decided to centralize education. And I mean, that's one of the reasons I'm a huge education proponent. And let's go to the phone lines. Eduardo from Tampa Bay. You're right. What you're calling to talk about is very important.
Yeah, trade schools, and I talk about this on the Sunday show with Jim from Elgin. And right now, young people, they're not getting married, they're not going to have kids. They're in debt and loans. What is it, like $10,000 a person?
Yeah.
It's even going to be worse after this Christmas shopping season. And you need to have a skill, because then you see these people. When I was over there in Chicago, I see these Mexicans in their garages fixing cars.
Yeah.
I mean, because they got the skill.
Yeah, that's true.
That's kind of like a side hustle for them.
That's true.
I mean, they had another job, but they're doing that in their garage, and that's what needs to happen. These employers, they need to knock, and some of them are knocking this off, where the requirement for college is being knocked off. You can get tuition reimbursement.
Yeah.
When you get out of high school, go work, and some of these jobs, one of the benefits is the tuition reimbursement.
Right.
Right now, like my house here in Tampa, I bought it with cash. They're not doing. They're not going to a bank to get a loan. I mean, that's ridiculous with these high interest rates. You
Right.
got to do a cash purchase.
Right.
You got to be nuts.
Right. That's one of the spokes that we're trying to do with the Grace Association of Schools is build a trade school, because we understand the importance of giving a kid or a skill that they can use for the rest of their lives. That's why it's very important to us.
Yes, it's extremely important.
Thanks, Eduardo.
Because people have got to you got to learn to do something.
Right.
Learn to do something, and that's the best way to protect yourself from artificial intelligence.
Right.
And my recommendation to high school graduates is, hey, go get a trade, then go to college if you want to, but get a trade. Become an electrician, become a plumber, become an HVAC guy, become a carpenter. Learn to do something first, then go to college if you want to study philosophy or business administration or whatever. But learn to do something first.
That's true. You know, I really wanted to play. It looks like we won't have time to do it. Maybe, I don't know, maybe after our guest at the top of the hour, we'll play it. Candace Owens, did you hear her try to compare the Holocaust to what happened on October 7th?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that's striking a nerve, because the Biden administration over these past 4 years, getting our country involved in these foreign wars, there's 4 of them, I think, that are underway right now, at least 3, and 1 potentially. There's Yemen, there's Gaza, where we're supplying the weapons, and then, of course, there's Ukraine, where we're supplying the weapons, which is a bloodbath.
Yeah.
I think there's an overall concern about the Biden administration's warlike behavior, and I think she's tapping into that.
Yeah. Well, you know, maybe I'll play it for Scott McKay. We got to go to break. Joe, hold the line. You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer. I'm John Anthony. He's Charles Thomas. We'll be right back.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
As we near the end of the year, many families in Latin America and the Caribbean are struggling just to get by. Inflation, food shortages, and natural disasters have left parents unable to feed their children or access water.
When the kids go to bed and we just stay in the night talking about how it's very hard to see my kids go to bed with hunger and not having something to give to them.
For over 40 years, Food for the Poor has stood alongside families like these. Gifts of $500 from AM 560 listeners have already provided food for 10 children for an entire year. Now we're asking for your help with the next 4. Your one-time gift of $200 provides life-saving food for 4 children for a year and helps the community get water closer to home. Make your best gift today. Click the red Give Life banner at 560theanswer.com or call 844-862-4673. And we thank you in advance for your generosity.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on singlecare.com, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to singlecare.com or download the free app today.
Did you know your life insurance is an asset you can sell? I'm Jay Jackson, CEO of Abacus Life. For almost 20 years, Abacus has been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors just like you. And at abacuspays.com, we've created a free policy value calculator so you can find out the worth of your policy in just seconds. There are no fees and no obligations. Get real value from your life insurance when you need it with Abacus. Learn more at abacuspays.com.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank, a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Scott Bartmus, co-founder of ESCO, a security and fire alarm services business, and a customer of Signature Bank. We work hard to give our customers peace of mind, so it's nice to know that while we have our customers' backs, partners like Signature Bank have ours. When COVID hit, there was a lot of uncertainty for many businesses, particularly surrounding the PPP loan program, with parameters and deadlines changing constantly. The executives from Signature Bank worked weekends alongside their staff, filling out and submitting applications to ensure they took care of us. That type of dedication is hard to find, but we found it with Signature Bank.
Signature Bank helps local businesses succeed. Want to learn how Signature Bank can help turn your business vision into reality? Call Signature Bank at 773-467-5600 or visit signaturebank.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Balance of Nature supplements, changing the world one life at a time.
I'm 71 years old, and one of the main reasons why
I wanted to switch over and give it a try was that I would rather take something of natural ingredients.
I'm almost 70 years old. I still work 12 to 14 hours every day, between 55 and 60 hours a week. And there's people half my age have trouble doing what I do. Balanced nature sounded like a good idea, and once I started taking it, I found out it was a great idea.
Happy New Year! Start the year right and get big savings on Balance of Nature supplements with our limited time New Year's deal. Sign up as a new preferred customer to get 35% off your first preferred set, plus a free fiber and spice supplement. Go to balanceofnature.com and get this exclusive New Year's offer by using discount code Chicago.
AM 560, The Answer.
Are these police prosecutions political? We'll find out from retired Riverside Police Chief Tom Weitzel coming up. We'll be right back. Oh, we got 1 more minute. Woo, wow. Okay, George, I'm sorry, brother. I didn't know. I thought we were going to break. My bad, brother. But I'm really excited about this. I believe I worked with the Police Chief Tom Weitzel when I was in the General Assembly. And we discussed when we were doing a lot of the police reform bills. So don't go anywhere. This is going to be a great discussion with former Riverside Police Chief Tom Weitzel. Now.
Hey, it could be a good one, man. I agree, man. There's some things about what's going on in the police world, particularly as it applies to recruitment of new officers, that is troubling, to say the least.
Chicago at an all-time low of gaining those recruits?
Yeah, man, but I had a policeman from Milwaukee who was a former command level person who was telling me some frightening stories about what's happening in the world of police recruitment right now.
Yeah, and it's all over because people don't want to end up on the 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock news, Charles.
Yeah,
that's the reason why.
Yeah, but this guy's take on it is really troubling.
Right.
And I'll tell you about it when we come back.
Okay, it is now 7 o'clock on AM 560 The Answer, WIND Chicago.
Pelosi, Fox News. Canadian diplomats will meet with President-elect Donald Trump's team at Mar-a-Lago for talks on tariffs and border security.
A pair of top Canadian ministers is in Palm Beach, Florida for meetings with President-elect Donald Trump after Trump threatened to impose sweeping tariffs on Canadian products if the border is not made secure. Foreign Minister Melanie Joly and new Finance Minister Dominic LeBlanc are reportedly planning to meet with Donald Trump's incoming border czar Tom Homan to discuss Canada's efforts to secure the border. Sources tell the Associated Press the minister will focus on Canada's efforts to combat fentanyl trafficking, illegal migration, and the measures outlined in Canada's border plan. Sue Guzman, Fox News.
President Biden has a decision to make over the sale of an iconic American company.
The president is on the clock with less than 2 weeks until a deadline to approve or deny a proposed sale of U.S. Steel to Japan's Nippon Steel, a U.S. agency responsible for assessing national security risk of foreign ownership, failed to reach a consensus or recommendation, leaving the decision entirely up to President Biden. The president has previously stated his opposition to foreign ownership of U.S. Steel. President-elect Trump also says he'll block the deal from happening. This week, Nippon Steel extended the deadline to close a deal from the end of this year until the first quarter of 2025. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
More than 85,000 Hezbollah weapons, including missiles, have been confiscated by IDF forces in Lebanon. Meanwhile, a woman in her 80s has been killed in a terrorist stabbing attack in Israel. They say her assailant was shot by security forces and is in custody. South Korea's acting president, Han Duck-soo, was impeached this morning by the country's opposition-controlled National Assembly. It comes on the heels of the impeachment of South Korea's president for declaring martial law. America's listening to Fox News.
Good morning. It's 45 degrees in Chicago in the AM 560 The Answer newsroom. I'm Nikki Whaley. Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy are getting backlash for defending Silicon Valley's reliance on foreign-born engineers. The billionaires are heading up President-elect Trump's new Department of Government Efficiency. This week, they both claimed on X that the U.S. does not have enough talented engineers. Musk wrote on Wednesday that there's a dire shortage of extremely talented and motivated engineers in America. On Thursday, Ramaswamy wrote a culture that celebrates the prom queen over the math Olympiad champ or the jock over the valedictorian will not produce the best engineers. Police have issued a warning after a series of downtown burglaries in the Loop, South Loop, and River North neighborhoods late Wednesday into Thursday. In each case, suspects used a fire hydrant top to smash glass doors before stealing cash registers and other items. The suspects are described as two men in their 20s wearing hooded sweatshirts. The incidents remain under investigation, and so far no arrests have been made. Police have issued a plea Thursday for help finding 16-year-old Latricia Collins, who disappeared after leaving her grandmother's house in Pullman on Tuesday. Collins, described as 5'5", 130 pounds, with brown hair and brown eyes, was last seen in the 10,500 block of South Corliss Avenue. Police have released a photo of Collins but did not specify what she was wearing at the time. This news update is quick delivered by Quick Delivery Service. When you need reliable same-day delivery to clients, Quick Delivery will customize a logistics plan to pick it up and move it safely to its destination. Trust their years of expertise for peace of mind. Get a quote at quickdelivery.com. Let's take a look at the roads from the Team Hochberg Traffic Center.
This week on The Hill is the best way to get informed on everything going on with Congress. Hosted by Tony Perkins and the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson.
That the ICC would take this outrageous action for which they have no jurisdiction whatsoever, but they are acting in violation of our sovereignty and in violation of the principles of due process, and it is a very dangerous situation.
Stay informed and become a regular listener. This week on The Hill, Sundays at 1 on AM 560. The Answer.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on singlecare.com, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to singlecare.com or download the free app today.
Did you know your life insurance is an asset you can sell? I'm Jay Jackson, CEO of Abacus Life. For almost 20 years, Abacus has been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors just like you. And at abacuspays.com, we've created a free policy value calculator so you can find out the worth of your policy in just seconds. There are no fees and no obligations. Get real value from your life insurance when you need it with Abacus. Learn more at abacuspays.com.
Wouldn't it feel great to give gifts with an impact? That's Caring creates gift boxes that also give back to food insecure children with every purchase. That's right. Order great gifts and you'll benefit a great cause. From sweets and snacks to apparel and wine and cheese, That's Caring has a gift for anyone in your life. Want to impress a new client? Send a loved one a just because gift? Order a homemade cookie cube gift box, chocolate indulgence gift box, trail mix. There's even dietary friendly options. View all their unique and delicious gifts at that'scaring.com. Every gift basket is handcrafted with 3 essential rules. It must taste great, it must look amazing, and it must give back. Since 2013, That's Caring has been providing essential weekend bags for food insecure children. So help the cause and give a That's Caring gift basket to someone special. Go to that'scaring.com. Visit now, that'scaring.com.
Support our police and hire the police to personally protect you. You've watched the news. Rising crime has been affecting our everyday lives in Illinois more and more these days. Blue Star Security can protect you, your business, or your place of worship. Blue Star Security is the only security company in Chicago with over 900 off-duty police officers, all W-2 employees.
I'm Jeffrey Salvetti, Vice President of Blue Star Security and a 15-year law enforcement veteran. The Blue Star team is made up of over 900 state-certified active and retired law enforcement professionals. We serve businesses and private organizations with supply chain and special event security, and also protect our loved ones at places of worship and schools all across the Chicagoland area. Blue Star Security's technology technology allows mobilization of off-duty officers quickly and efficiently. Our primary mission is to provide unparalleled protective services for each assignment with integrity while maintaining our commitment to community service in the Chicagoland area.
Visit online to schedule a free security consultation at bluestarsecurityllc.com. That's bluestarsecurityllc.com.
Let's take a look at the roads from the Team Hochberg Traffic Center.
Crash in Arlington Heights at Lake Cook Road eastbound at Wilkie. Accident in Addison on Lombard Road at Woodland. The Edens outbound, it's 26 minutes from Montrose to Lake Cook. On the Kennedy inbound, a crash at North Avenue. It's blocking the right lane from O'Hare into downtown. 50 minutes outbound Kennedy, 30 to the airport. On the Ike inbound at 42 minutes from 390 to Congress Stevenson. That's at 40 minutes in from 355. And the Dan Ryan, 24 minutes 95th into downtown. Traffic is a service of turnkey.pro. For less than the price of a monthly car payment, Turnkey will fully protect your network with up-to-date cyber protection, unlimited backup, unlimited 24/7 help desk support, and real-time threat hunting. Protect your small business today. Visit turnkey.pro. Reporting from the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, I'm Joanne Jeanette.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, but now a quick check of your forecast from the National Weather Service.
Some areas of fog this morning, rain, breezy and a high 51. Cloudy, breezy and mild, periods of rain this evening. Drizzle late tonight, low 45. Spotty drizzle early tomorrow. Cloudy, breezy and mild, the high 51. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by IDT. Eliminate paper files with the IoT Smart Connected Scanning Device. Find them at ready4idt.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Chicago. I'm John Anthony, host of Black and White Radio, heard every Saturday from 4 to 7 p.m. right here on these airways. In with my good buddy, my pal, my brother from another mister, former ABC7 reporter Charles Thomas.
That's me.
That's you, brother.
That's me. Yes, sir.
And I'm so happy that you joined me for these last 2 hours. And we got 2 more to go, Charles, and then we'll be done, brother.
Actually, we got 1 hour. And,
well, 1 hour, yeah.
Yeah, 50 minutes, man. But that's not enough time.
Yeah.
To talk about all that we need to talk about.
Because there's so much. Even in a slow news cycle, there's still a lot to discuss. One of those things I want to discuss, when Quinn sent me a list of who he wanted on the show, or who I should pick. I had already read the article that CWB Chicago had put out there, Tim Heckey, about prosecutors keep losing cases filed against local cops. And that one of the guest that'll be joining us, former Riverside Police Chief Tim Weitzel. I think I got the chance to meet him when we were doing a lot of police reform. I do believe when I was in the General Assembly. I'll bring it up and make sure to see. But as you know, the prosecutors, according to the article, they dropped criminal charges this week against an Oak Lawn police officer who was accused of using excessive force to arrest a 17-year-old boy. What the Cook County State's Attorney, because I believe there's a new top law enforcement person in charge now with Eileen Burke, and I don't think she's gonna, walk the shoes that Kim Foxx actually did. And what her department said, after a thorough review, we concluded that the evidence is insufficient to meet our burden of proof beyond a reasonable doubt to move forward with the prosecution of this case. They said in the official written statement. And when former Chief Tim Weitzel heard about this, he called the decision to prosecute O'Donnell outrageous and unprecedented in my experience as a police officer. So joining us to discuss this is former police chief Tom Weitzel. Tom, welcome to Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning, John and Charles. Thank you for having me on.
Good morning.
When you think about it, there's in this article they list a few Kim Foxx when she charged CPD officer Bruce Diker for aggravated battery. I remember this case when the lady was walking in the wee hours of the morning alongside the lake. Another incident, Sergeant Christopher Leocopolis and Officer Ruben Reynoso, they were charged with shooting an unarmed man in Pilsen. Judge Lawrence Flood acquitted both men in September. CPD Lieutenant Wilfredo Roman, Sergeant Mike Villatello, Christopher Hilas, Melvina Bogart, Angel Escobedo. I mean, what in your estimation makes this these officers politically targeted?
Well, there's no doubt that I thought they were politically motivated from day one, and with the new state's attorney dismissing these criminal charges against the Oak Lawn officer is significant, because they're not going to go to court on a case that they don't believe they can prosecute and win, and typically they'll never charge an individual that they don't think they could sustain a prosecution in court. So when that came out, I knew that they had looked at the case, that the Oak Lawn case. They had looked at it and said, there's not enough evidence to go forward. There never was enough evidence, because for a state's attorney to go into court in front of a judge and outright drop those charges,
right,
and those are felony charges, is a big deal. And it just verified that there was never any evidence. And she always wanted to make policing a different type of situation in Cook County, reimagine policing. She used to say that and talk about that at chiefs meetings I attended. I mean, it wasn't like she was hiding it.
Right. And then a day after a day before the Illinois State Police was to look at the case, they were trying to get a grand jury indictment. Who does that, sir? Because they know. They never do that. The State Police Public Integrity Unit, when it's turned over to them for investigation, everybody waits until that investigation is done, and then the prosecutors, no matter what county they're in Illinois, they meet with the Public Integrity Unit and they go over whether the evidence is there for prosecution. That's how it happens in every county in Illinois except for Cook County. Yeah.
Hey, Chief, I want you to react to something. I was talking to a police officer from Wisconsin who was telling me that his department is having serious problems recruiting new officers because of what has happened in this country since, let's say, 2020, that it's very difficult to recruit, and that departments around the country are having to settle for less than the ideal candidate because there aren't that many young people available who want to be police officers. And for that reason, the quality of the people on the street, the men and women on the street, has gone down. What do you think?
That's spot on. It's really started, Charles. It started after the George Floyd murder in Minneapolis, Minnesota. The profession took a huge hit, and there weren't police executives defending the profession and standing up. And every single police executive I knew, I was still police chief during that time, denounced that situation. There was no this imagine that people said that somehow police were supporting it. That's ridiculous. That never happened. The incident there where the George Floyd died, which was a murder, that's the way it was charged, was accurate. Somehow it became that that's how police officers are trained. It's how they're put out. It's how the policies. And it has been brutal to recruit and retain officers. I've never seen it this bad. In fact, there's officers that were leaving the profession with 9, 10, 11 years on the job because they just couldn't take it anymore. And not only recruiting, but just getting up and leaving a profession that nobody did in the past, because policing is a calling, in my opinion, and officers just left. But we had never seen that in our profession.
But if you have a lower quality cop out there, what about prosecutors who don't bring charges? I mean, are we going to have more incidents of police abuse because we have less than qualified or the best qualified people on the street?
No, I don't believe so. That's all about policy, leadership, and training. And there is this push in America now to lower entry standards for law enforcement, which I'm totally against. So there is this push that we can't get enough recruits, right? So what do? We bring down college requirements. We bring down military requirements or incentives for ex-military to apply for law enforcement. So we're lowering entry physical standards at the academy. But it's incumbent upon the police leadership to have really good policies, really good procedures and training, and we need leaders that lead. We actually need police chiefs and superintendents who lead their men and women, and that's lacking too in our profession. We really need that to step up.
And you didn't mention it, but I'll say it for you. There's also the pressure of DEI that affects police departments.
Oh, without a doubt. And that's political. There's a huge political pressure, and you know how they're putting that pressure on these days is this defund the police that happened. There's a new defund the police, and it's called legislation. I mean, what's happening is Springfield and is passing anti-police legislations that's not allowing officers to do their job. No foot pursuits, no police pursuits, no use of gang databases. I mean, I can go on and on. They're taking tools away from law enforcement to prevent you from actually doing your job.
Yeah, Chief, I was a police officer, a sheriff's deputy. With the way the state of policing today, I don't know if that would be a profession I would choose today, because I mean your pension, your whole way of life can end with one call that's a split second decision, and I think that's what lends to a lot of people the shortage of finding good quality people who believe in the honorable profession of being in law enforcement. What say you?
Right. For sure. And you know what happens? That officer, that case becomes front page news. It's the next YouTube video. No police officer wants to be that.
No.
Your career is ruined. And even if their prosecution is dropped, many times departments will bring officers up on internal charges for violations of policies and procedures, and they will go after to terminate them, which they shouldn't be doing because they were exonerated to begin with. I never did understand that. So, who wants a job like that where you're not receiving public support, you're not receiving internal support, and even your police chief or your police leadership is throwing you under the bus?
And that's become the biggest problem. Especially, you don't see that much from sheriffs because they're duly elected, but you see a lot of that in the cities. I've always told people I've been a city cop and I've been a deputy sheriff. I would prefer to be a deputy any day of the week because the political pressures are not there on that. Are not there on that sheriff that someone like a city police chief who has to report to the alderman and also reports to the mayor. That sheriff gets to make a lot of decisions that a city police chief just simply cannot make, and that's become the biggest problem with a lot of these chiefs. But it happened in George Floyd, with the George Floyd case. It's happened in Dallas, Texas. It's everywhere you go. This becomes the problem, right?
Absolutely, and the difference is every police chief in America is appointed.
Yeah,
sheriffs are elected. So the sheriffs, the only thing that usually the sheriffs have to answer for is, at least to the political leadership, is budgeting.
Right.
Okay, so that's where outside of that, they're not, they're not appointed. So a police chief or a superintendent, if you fall out of favor for some reason, you're gone. Everybody, you know that you're gone.
Yeah. Now you wrote a letter to President-elect Donald Trump. You're talking about the last 13 years you've been pursuing federal legislation to make it a felony to kill a police officer in the line of duty. You've been ignored by the likes of Senator Durbin, current occupant of the White House, Joe Biden. Talk to us. What would this bill? Because I'm all for it. When I was in the General Assembly, myself and John Cabello, we wanted to reintroduce the death penalty to people that killed police officers, firemen, and kids as well. We wanted to bring that death penalty back for that, but we were, let's just say, the legislation went nowhere. You want to create these go teams, and talk to us a little bit about what you would love for the president to do, and now that there's a Republican Congress, hopefully it can happen.
Yeah, so it's not a Republican-Democrat issue for me.
I agree.
Like you said, I've reached out to both parties and gotten so far received zero in reply, and that's at the state level and the federal level. But I want to see the murder of a police officer in the line of duty a federal crime throughout the United States, where it's investigated by a federal GO team and prosecuted by the federal government, and they bring all the resources into that investigation the federal government has for evidence collection and processing, et cetera. They already do this. The FAA has a thing called the GO team, and I wanted to model it after that. Any plane crash, helicopter crash, train crash, the federal government comes in with this team that has skilled people in every aspect of the investigation. They take over and they do it, and they do the entire investigation. I believe that should happen with police officers killed in the line of duty, because not everywhere in America does the same type of investigation and prosecution take place. Big metropolitan areas can have really good skilled investigators and prosecutors, but there's police officers killed in very small rural communities too. And believe me, they've never had a line of duty death, and they have no idea what to do. So, I mean, I'd like to see it uniform throughout the United States, and think about how that would give families, the victims' families, some relief that the investigation is ethical, it's on point, you have right people doing it, and the prosecution is at the federal level. I think that would bring a lot of relief to victims. I mean, it isn't, you guys know, it is not investigated the same throughout the United States. That does not happen.
Chief Charles, again, got one more question. I want you to just give me a general idea from a policeman's perspective. What do you think's going to happen when ICE gets out on the street looking for illegals, and they've got it seems to me that there's going to be another police force on the street, particularly in a city like Chicago, another police force with a SWAT team, with cyber experts, with detention centers. What is this going to be? Another level of police activity in Chicago when ICE ramps up?
Yeah, it is going to be a different. You're going to see different version, because the first thing that local police have to do is decide whether they're going to assist, because Illinois is still going to tell its police officers, we're a sanctuary state, don't help ICE. That, you know, and then the federal government is going to say, we want local help. So that's the first hurdle that's going to have to happen or overcome. But there are going to be, I mean, President-elect Trump and his Homeland Security staff has made it clear they're coming to arrest illegals. Now, they're only going after, they've publicly stated, felons and serious violent offenders, but they will be out on the street. They will be, quote unquote, hunting those individuals down. So you'll be able to see that taking place.
But a lot of times they're going to be looking for the same people, right?
That's correct. And you're going to say, I've never seen this. Maybe we use the word aggressive approach. And they're right. You probably have never seen this before. But are they going to be teaming up with CPD or state police or local law enforcement? As we talked about earlier, those chiefs are going to have to make a decision, because their local politicians and mayors and city managers and village presidents are going to tell them no.
Yeah. Now, as you understand,
say yes.
As you understand it, are the ICE people going to have the same protocols as local police in terms of you have the right to remain silent, and if you don't have an attorney, all that business, Miranda rights and all that? Because they're not citizens.
Yeah, absolutely.
They will.
Right. They will give them, to avoid any problems. They will, when you are detained, they will bring them to the detain centers, and they will be given their rights, and they will be housed at ICE facilities for sure, and they will have hearings before they're deported. I don't think they're just, they don't just put them in a plane and send them back somewhere. So there are going to be some protocols, but the difference is going to be that they're actively going to go out and search for individuals. That's what's going to happen. That's going to be the big difference.
Chief, I actually had this conversation with current police chief Gary McCarthy, former superintendent for Chicago, and what I wanted to know from him, would he, if ICE came out and because the governor said that he doesn't want anybody cooperating with him, would he do if his mayor told him to stand down, would he stand down? And he said yes. I mean, you were police chief for 13 years out of your 30 years on the force, and also survived the gunshot blast. I'm definitely remember who you are now. We've had conversations. But if you were still the mayor of Riverside and the Riverside mayor came to you and said, stand down, what would you do?
I would go for. I would. If they had detainers and they're going after people with detainers and felony convictions and serious felons, I would assist. But you know what would happen? That wouldn't happen for too long, because if my form of government there, my village president or anywhere, they're going to threaten you with your job. Make no doubt about it.
Yeah.
They're going to tell you you're not going to participate in help ICE or you'll be removed as police chief, which they have the right to, like we talked about earlier. They're not a sheriff. They have the right to remove you. Yeah. So you're going to have to really either have a local government that supports that, or, realistically, they're probably going to replace you.
Yeah. Sounds like you need to go meet Tom Homan and have this conversation with him as well. I'm actually
we have to do what's right. We need more police leaders to do what's right, and they have to start to lead.
Yeah, I agree. Chief Whitesell, I'm actually going to send this letter to a couple of the people that I'm connected with in the Trump world, because I think this is very important to the victims, to the men and women whose wives and husbands and kids would benefit for something like this. So police departments would benefit for something like this, because as you said, there's nothing that's done throughout the nation. There's, especially in those really small podunk towns, when this happens, they're clueless as what the next step should be. So I think it's admirable, and I'm going to push this to some people that I know. And I know we'll never get it in an Illinois General Assembly because it's just too far left. And they're not too fond of police officers in this current makeup of the Illinois General Assembly. But I'm going to pass it through some people anyway. So,
yeah, I truly appreciate that, and I do remember meeting John when I was lobbying for the Illinois police chiefs on their legislative committee. I did lobby. I did lobby you about a few pro law enforcement issues over the years.
Yeah, and we defeated that. We defeated the Safety Act back then in 2015, and then they just came back with a vengeance and got everything they wanted. I know. I don't know if you were part of the no quotas bill, but I caught a little flack from a couple of police chiefs on the quota bill.
Yeah, so I sat in on negotiations when President Obama was a state legislator on the racial profiling statistical data that police had to collect. You recall the traffic stop data?
Yeah.
And he sat across the table when he was just a state legislator and told us that we'd only do it as a trial and then have a sunset. Yeah. Well, that never happened.
Yeah, I got in trouble. We got to go, but I got in trouble with former Representative Monique Davis because her and I had an argument about that on the House floor, and I got slapped on the hand by my leadership because I kind of went after her. But former Chief Thomas Whitesell, thanks so much for joining us on
Hey,
Chicago's
thanks a lot,
Morning
Chief.
Answer. You were great.
Hey, thank you. Thank you so much. Have a great morning.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
Balance of Nature supplements, changing the world one life at a time.
I am a senior citizen, and actually I've seen the commercials, and I started taking it because I thought, well, that sounds like a really good idea.
Well, I saw it. We watch Fox News, and I saw it on there, so I thought to order them. And I'm telling you, it's terrific stuff.
It makes me feel good. So me and my wife both enjoy it,
Because I can't do it without my Balance of Nature.
We've maintained it without taking a lot of food supplements we had been taking. We stopped and are just using Balance of Nature supplements.
Happy New Year! Start the year right and get big savings on Balance of Nature supplements with our limited time New Year's deal. Sign up as a new preferred customer to get 35% off your first preferred set, plus a free fiber and spice supplement. Go to balanceofnature.com and get this exclusive New Year's offer by using discount code Chicago.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on singlecare.com, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to singlecare.com or download the free app today.
Did you know your life insurance is an asset you can sell? I'm Jay Jackson, CEO of Abacus Life. For almost 20 years, Abacus has been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors just like you. And at abacuspays.com, we've created a free policy value calculator so you can find out the worth of your policy in just seconds. There are no fees and no obligations. Get real value from your life insurance when you need it with Abacus. Learn more at abacuspays.com.
Good morning. It's 45 degrees in Chicago in the AM 560 The Answer newsroom. I'm Nikki Whaley. President-elect Trump's border czar says protecting children is a main driver behind the expected zero-tolerance border policy. Tom Homan says that the Biden administration put thousands of kids at risk with lax border enforcement policies.
Some of these children are dead. Some of these children are living a life of hell every day, but we're going to do everything we can to rescue as many as we can.
The Department of Homeland Security Secretary Office of Inspector General reported that at least 300,000 illegal children basically dropped off the radar during the Biden-Harris administration. Holman says that many are sold into sex trafficking and many will never be found. A 2-year-old boy is in critical condition after being shot multiple times inside of a home in the Lawndale neighborhood on Thursday. Police say the toddler suffered multiple gunshot wounds to his lower body and was taken to the hospital. A weapon was recovered and a person of interest is in custody. Detectives are investigating the circumstances surrounding the shooting. News is a service of Balance of Nature fruits and veggies in a capsule. Save 50% off of your first preferred order with promo code Chicago. Order online at balanceofnature.com and use coupon code Chicago to save 50% as a preferred customer. Hurry, offer ends soon.
As we near the end of the year, many families in Latin America and the Caribbean are struggling just to get by. Inflation, food shortages, and natural disasters have left parents unable to feed their children or access water.
When the kids go to bed and we just stay in the night talking about how it's very hard to see my kids go to bed with hunger and not having something to give to them.
For over 40 years, Food for the Poor has stood alongside families like these. Gifts of $500 from AM 560 listeners have already provided food for 10 children for an entire year. Now we're asking for your help with the next 4. Your one-time gift of $200 provides life-saving food for 4 children for a year and helps the community get water closer to home. Make your best gift today. Click the red Give Life banner at 560theanswer.com or call 844-862-4673. And we thank you in advance for your generosity.
If you're self-employed and purchase your own health insurance, I have some great news. From now until January 15th, the health insurance exchanges are open again. And even if you've never qualified for a health insurance subsidy before, you most likely will now. The American Rescue Plan expanded subsidy eligibility to millions of Americans who have never qualified before, even to those with high income levels. And this year, you can purchase a PPO policy, which includes access to Northwestern Medical Group. Employers who provide small group coverage also have new options, and so do seniors looking for Medicare supplement coverage. Call me. I can help.
If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Obamacare, then you need a local expert on your side. C. Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 30-year licensed broker who's been educating our listeners for more than 10 years. Steve, how can our listeners get in touch with you?
Thanks, Dan. They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551. 630-674-1551.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on singlecare.com, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to singlecare.com or download the free app today.
Did you know your life insurance is an asset you can sell? I'm Jay Jackson, CEO of Abacus Life. For almost 20 years, Abacus has been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors just like you. And at abacuspays.com, we've created a free policy value calculator so you can find out the worth of your policy in just seconds. There are no fees and no obligations. Get real value from your life insurance when you need it with Abacus. Learn more at abacuspays.com.
Attention, anyone with high blood pressure.
If you want to seriously control your blood pressure and not be a walking time bomb,
Order 120 Life today.
120 Life is an amazing blend of superfruit juices that can actually help lower your blood pressure. It's been endorsed by thousands of health professionals and doesn't have the side effects of medication.
With ingredients that have shown to naturally help control blood pressure, 120 Life could be the natural game changer in your life.
Try it for yourself, risk-free, with a 2-week trial pack.
Go to 120life.com and use coupon code 560 to save 15% and get free shipping.
120 Life is so sure it can noticeably lower your blood pressure in just 2 weeks, they'll give you your money back if you're not satisfied.
Order the 8-ounce drink or powdered mix. From pomegranates to cranberries, it's the delicious way to lower blood pressure.
Go to 120life.com now. Use coupon code 560 to save 15% and get free shipping.
Struggling with high cloud hosting costs and endless management headaches with your Microsoft Azure or AWS environment? Contact AmericanEagle.com for an assessment and see how they can save you time and money.
Taking a look at the roads from the Team Hochberg Traffic Center.
It's solid on the Edens outbound. Earlier accident, stop and go from Cicero to Oakton. Montrose out to Lake Cook, 50 minutes. The Kennedy, it is 50 minutes. In from O'Hare, outbound gets out of the Kennedy. That is at 42 minutes. A crash in Skokie. This is at Toohey and Niles Center. We've got an accident in Oakbrook. This is on Butterfield at 22nd Street. Downers Grove, collision at Maple and Belmont, and in Mundelein on Route 83 northbound. Just before 45, you've got a collision. This traffic update is quick delivered by Quick Delivery Service. When you need reliable same-day delivery to clients, Quick Delivery will customize a logistics plan to pick it up and move it safely to its destination. Trust their 40 years of experience for peace of mind. Get a quote at quickdelivery.com. Reporting from the Team Hochberg Traffic Center today, I'm Joanne Jeanette.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, but now a quick check of your forecast from the National Weather Service.
Areas of fog to start us off this morning with some occasional rain, breezy day, high 51. Clouds breezy mild, rain this evening, drizzle late tonight, low 45. Spotty drizzle early tomorrow, cloudy mild, the high tomorrow, 51. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by In the Know with Wealth Management Group, hosted by Craig and Leslie Bolanos Sunday mornings at 10. Learn more at investwithwmg.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
Welcome back. Chicago's Morning Answer. I'm John Anthony, filling in for Dan Prof. He's my good friend, former ABC7 reporter Charles Thomas.
I'm filling in for Amy.
Yes, you are. You don't look as good as Amy, though. Sorry, Charles. I'm sorry, brother.
That's all right. That's all right.
She's Amy Jacobson, I just want to say something about that last interview. I think that sometimes when we have interviews like that, a lot of people think that we're not looking for accountability to police officers. There's a process as it relates to police officers who do bad things. The color of law, the civil 1983, section 1983, which cops can, lose their job for doing things. But I think that's a very important. Personally, I think that's something that needs to be done, Charles.
And I think Chief Weitzel put it point blank that, hey, we have a quality problem in terms of recruiting. We're not getting the same kind of recruit we got 10 years ago because nobody wants to be a cop.
Dude, and that's insane. But, we got our next guest, and I want to get straight to it because I do want to bring up this Candace Owens clip and have him hear it. He's the editor of Spectator.org, Scott McKay. Scott, I know you. Everybody knows who you are, so I'm gonna get right to it because there's a couple of things that I want. When I saw that your name was on the list to bring in, I was like, there's some things I would love to talk to Scott McKay about because you deal with these issues that as it relates to race. But I want to first get into this. What the heck were Republicans thinking with this porcupine bill that Chuck Schumer and the other three eggheads were trying to ram down the throats of Congress. What why is it really important that people that are listening to this show know what was actually getting ready to happen? Because I read through the 1,547-page bill, and only to end up with 100 plus pages of a bill that finally passed. What is with that, Scott McKay?
Well, I'm not sure. I will say this: the way it played out was a disaster for the Democrats.
Yeah.
Because they didn't get any of the stuff that they were looking for, but they did get all of the negatives for trying to put it in the bill. So I'm not 100% sure that this wasn't, to some extent, a rope-a-dope by Trump and Mike Johnson and the Republican leadership in the House.
Right.
Which is, hey, guys, we can't get a consensus in our caucus. We need Democrat votes. So you tell me what you need to pass this thing, right?
Yeah.
And then they larded up with all kinds of stuff that enrages the public. Vivek and Elon are absolutely ready with the long knives as soon as it comes out. And then, essentially the next two are skinny and skinnier CRs. Now, the money is the same, which is bad. Don't get me wrong about that. But, again, you have to have something that will go through the Senate and that Biden will sign. You just managed to avoid all of the really awful pork, despite the fact that Democrats got dinged for it. So there's a win there, and the Democrats seized on this thing at the end because, they were looking for any kind of win they could get, and what they got was Trump didn't get the debt limit increase that would take that off the table for him for at least a couple of years. I don't think that's a major consideration. The problem is this: you're not in regular order where the budget is concerned, so you don't actually have a budget. What you have is, a kick the can down the road thing that happens at the end of every year, so that no real work is done on eliminating all of this waste and fraud and abuse in the federal budget. Now, hopefully this year, when you have Republicans in charge of the Senate, the House, and the White House, and Elon and Vivek with Doge, you might actually be able to start paring this thing back and get to some sense of normality or sanity when it comes to federal spending. This is honestly the last chance to be able to do that.
Is Mike Johnson? Sorry about that. Go ahead.
Well, sort of point of order here. I know Mike Johnson. I'm friends with him. Okay, I've known him since before he even was in the Louisiana State Legislature. This is not what Mike Johnson wants to be doing.
Right.
Okay. The speaker's job is really hard, and it's even harder because there's a pretty, hard core of conservative Republicans, the Freedom Caucus, and folks like that, who I would be part of if I was in the House.
Yeah.
That refuse to vote for any budget, essentially, that isn't balanced. I would hold that line, too. The problem is that's not Mike Johnson's job, right? His job is to pass must-pass things, and if he can't get enough Republicans to pass those things, he's got to go fishing for Democrat votes. This is the reason Mike Johnson is the speaker, and none of the people who were better known at the time wanted the job, is because it's an impossible job. Now, I think the way home is to go hard right on fiscal conservatism and start passing, or at least attempting to pass, balanced budgets. That way you should be able to get the Freedom Caucus and other House conservatives to come aboard. The problem is when you only have 220 votes or so, you can't afford to lose anybody in your caucus, and it makes it almost impossible, especially since Republicans are not Democrats. Democrats vote how they're told, whereas Republicans actually, at least enough of them to matter, vote their conscience and what their constituents want. And it's for the leadership, that's super inconvenient. I'm not here to tell you that we should care about their problems, but this is the situation. So under the circumstances, nobody likes the CR, but it actually wasn't that bad that you smoked out all of the crazy stuff the Democrats would do if they had a chance. They want to give themselves pay raises. They want to immunize themselves from legal consequences to illegal behavior like the January 6th Commission engaged in, and all these other things. So, you know, I don't think it was the total loss that everybody who was caterwauling during the process made it out to be, but there's no question this thing has got to be done better.
I agree.
Can Mike Johnson survive?
No.
Yeah, because I don't know who, okay, if it's not Mike, then who is it?
That's a good question
who
for you.
Who wants the job and who can get to 218 votes? And the answer is nobody.
Nobody.
Elon Musk. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow.
I've seen that bandied about.
Elon doesn't want
I
that
know.
job.
I wouldn't take it.
Nobody wants. That's the thing. Nobody wants the job. It's a completely thankless, impossible job to do. Right. I mean, it really is. When you're this deeply divided. And here's the thing. It would be so much easier to be a Republican House Speaker if they had not utterly, Kevin McCarthy's the guy who's responsible for this, utterly dropped the ball on the way the census counts, which includes illegal aliens for the purposes of congressional apportionment, which is something like 15 or 20 seats that the Democrats got that they shouldn't have. And then you've got this insanity, the way that particularly lower courts and the Supreme Court screwed it up too, the way they're doing, they've interpreted the Voting Rights Act, which essentially gives affirmative action for black Democrat politicians. Like right. When Tim Scott and Byron Donalds and, you know, to go back, look, Mia Love and Burgess Owens and some of these other folks, you know, like there's plenty of black Republicans that can get elected to Congress and the statewide things and all this kind of stuff. You don't need to make patently Democrat districts, particularly in red states. Red states will vote for black Republicans. They won't vote for black Democrats.
That's true.
But that's because they're red states, not because they're racist.
Yep.
And so really, there's an entire section of the Voting Rights Act that next month probably ought to be gotten rid of. In a reconciliation bill or some kind of must-pass thing.
Which
portion? We need to do massive election integrity reform in Congress, including banning the census from using illegals for the purpose of apportionment, getting rid of this Voting Rights Act business where you have to have X number of majority-minority seats as though, certain minority groups can't get anybody elected to represent them unless they're the majority. That is partisan Democrat crap disguised as civil rights, and it's time for that to go away.
Hey Scott,
we need national vote, and then we need national voter ID as well.
That definitely needs to pass.
And clean voter rolls.
Yeah, which we know that won't happen here in Illinois. But listen,
not without the feds coming in and making it happen.
This is so true. You know, Charles and I were talking earlier about legacy media, corporate media, and some of the things that they need to change as it relates to how they convey the news. And I'm telling you, if stop everything you're doing, head over to spectator.org/MyLordTheLies. That is the article that you have to read today. Seeing this list, Scott, of some of the, and they called us conspiracy theorists throughout this whole last 4 years, but seeing the 60+ lies, flat out lies, the assassination attempt on Trump was staged by the Trump campaign. Trump saying suckers and losers, the Russian collusion, just to name a few. J6 was an insurrection. I mean, there are 60+ lies that they fed to the American people.
Right.
I mean, Scott, if this
provable lies at the time,
yes,
not things we found out later were wrong. These were things that were known to be lies, and the legacy corporate propaganda press, imposed on the public while they were censoring dissenting points of view on Facebook and then Twitter and certainly everything that Google puts out, whether it's YouTube or Google searches or any of that stuff. They did everything they could to ban alternative viewpoints, and then they started foisting immediately provable lies on the American public nonstop for like 6 or 7 years.
Yeah.
And you're asking me what can be done about this? The answer is put these people out of business.
Mm.
That's the only thing you can do, because none of these institutions can be saved.
Wow. And that's one.
They need we need an entirely different media, and we're getting there.
Yes, we are.
Because if you look at the ratings of CNN and MSNBC and the newspaper circulation counts and all these kinds of things, the market is doing everything it can to kill these institutions. But what I would love to see happen, and I'm going to sound a little like Bernie Sanders saying this, but there's 5 mega corporations that control pretty much 90% of the cable TV channels and a great deal of the mainstream media, whether it's newspapers or some of these other things. I think we need to do some antitrust actions and break up a bunch of these companies and make it so that these cable channels have to stand on their own 2 feet and aren't loss leaders for Comcast or some of these other things. And some of these news divisions will go away, which they should go away, because they're not actively news organizations anymore.
Yeah,
they're propaganda shops.
And when you look at it, that's one of the reasons I personally believe they're trying to get rid of the avenues of the TikToks, X now, because that's where the information is getting out, and Trump proved that.
Yes.
This last election. So those are thank God that Elon bought X. I'm looking at this list, and we gotta go. But I'm looking at this list. I lost my YouTube channel for a lot of the things that I spoke about that's on this list, Scott.
I know. I can't tell you how many times I got banned from Facebook by saying, hey, this is BS.
Yeah.
This isn't true. Yeah. Oh, no, it is true. And it's well, it's not. So where do I go for recourse now? You know?
Yeah,
it's absolutely abysmal how badly these people have abused the American public, and there has to be accountability for it.
I agree. Scott, we gotta leave it there. I hate I couldn't get into this Candace Owens discussion with you. He's the publisher of The Hayride, senior editor at the American Spectator, and author of Racism, Revenge, and Brewing, and King of the Jungle. Thanks so much for joining us on Chicago Morning Answer, Scott.
Thank you so much.
See you guys. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. He joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Are you looking for a trustworthy garage to keep your Dodge Ram 45 or 5500 Cummins engine in tip-top shape? Look no further than Remke's Garage in Marengo. At Remke's Garage, their experienced team treats every car like it's their own. Plus, they believe in transparency, no surprises, just honest service and fair pricing. Check out the incredible reviews that satisfied customers have left on Google as they speak for themselves. With state-of-the-art equipment and a commitment to quality, they're proud to be your local choice for automotive care. And here's the best part, they offer free pickup and drop-off for your convenience. Both individually owned and fleet vehicle programs available to meet your needs. So why wait? Swing by Remke's Garage today and let them get you back on the road with confidence. Visit remkesgarage.com. Remke's Garage, repairing America.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on singlecare.com, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to singlecare.com or download the free app today.
Did you know your life insurance is an asset you can sell? I'm Jay Jackson, CEO of Abacus Life. For almost 20 years, Abacus has been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors just like you. And at abacuspays.com, we've created a free policy value calculator so you can find out the worth of your policy in just seconds. There are no fees and no obligations. Get real value from your life insurance when you need it with Abacus. Learn more at abacuspays.com.
Can you believe it? 2025 is just around the corner. As you count down to the new year, you're probably already thinking about your resolutions. And let's be honest, your well-being has been on top of your list for years. But this year, maintaining your wellness goals is easier than ever with Balance of Nature. Balance of Nature's whole food ingredient supplements have 31 varieties of fruit and vegetable ingredients, from tomatoes to sweet potatoes. No synthetics or added fillers. Finally, a resolution that will be a breeze to keep. Make 2025 the year you feel your best and keep celebrating for years to come. Happy New Year! Start the year right and get big savings on Balance of Nature supplements with our limited time New Year's deal. Go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer to get 35% off your first preferred set, plus a free fiber and spice supplement. And get this exclusive New Year's offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
Are your file cabinets stuffed with work orders, invoices, bills of lading, medical records, and or compliance papers? There's a solution to clear the clutter by converting your documents into accessible digital form with the help of IDT. They can scan your documents for you or provide you with the technology to transform your workspace with easy and innovative IoT smart connected scanning technology. IoT Smart Connected Scanning not only captures your information, it connects your documents directly to your existing digital systems, ensuring seamless integration and immediate access. Plus, it works with your existing Microsoft Office 365 technology. Convert those physical files into secure, searchable, easy-to-find digital formats. Goodbye, paper chaos. Hello, streamlined, secure digital environment. Visit ready4idt.com. That's ready, the number 4idt.com. IDT, putting paper in its place.
As we near the end of the year, many families in Latin America and the Caribbean are struggling just to get by. Inflation, food shortages, and natural disasters have left parents unable to feed their children or access water.
When the kids go to bed and we just stay in the night talking about how it's very hard to see my kids go to bed with hunger and not having something to give to them.
For over 40 years, Food for the Poor has stood alongside families like these. Gifts of $500 from AM 560 listeners have already provided food for 10 children for an entire year. Now we're asking for your help with the next 4. Your one-time gift of $200 provides life-saving food for 4 children for a year and helps the community get water closer to home. Make your best gift today. Click the red Give Life banner at 560theanswer.com or call 844-862-4673. And we thank you in advance for your generosity.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on the Chicago Morning Answer, we talked to Fred Bauer. He's a writer for the Unheard, City Journal, National Review, and he has a blog, A Certain Enthusiasm. Look forward to that conversation, Charles. I think it's I enjoy Scott McKay's conversation. I always enjoy his conversation because he's always to the point, and I guess he knows how to do a radio interview. And he gets to the point.
He gets to the point, and he has a lot to say.
He does have a lot to say because there is a lot to say, and we're just losing America, and I'm so glad Trump won. It is now 8 o'clock on AM 560 The Answer, WIND Chicago.
Kids. I'm Paul Stevens, Fox News. The incoming border czar Tom Homan laying out how the incoming Trump White House, Trump 2.0, will handle children in this country illegally.
Tom Homan telling the Washington Post the administration will build family facilities and detain and deport illegal migrants. The report reads in part, quote, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement will look to hold parents with children in soft-sided tent structures, similar to those used by U.S. border officials to handle immigration surges. The government will not hesitate to deport parents who are in the country illegally, even if they have young U.S.-born children, he added, leaving it to the families to decide whether to exit together or be split up.
And that is Fox's Chanley Painter. NATO now calling for an investigation into the crash of an Azerbaijan Airlines plane that killed 38 people Wednesday morning amid growing suspicions that Russian air defenses could have been responsible for that disaster.
Speculation is really mounting and theories are swirling as to what caused this crash in the first place. 4 sources in Azerbaijan with knowledge of the investigation told Reuters that the flight was downed by a Russian air defense system. Experts were quickly concerned after seeing the damage, particularly the holes in the plane's tail section, which could indicate that it came under fire from Russia. Aviation security firm Osprey Flight Solutions also thought the same thing, saying Ukrainian drone strikes have already hit Grozny and neighboring areas this month alone.
Fox's Stephanie Bennett in London. 29 people survived. The illegal immigrant from Guatemala accused of setting a New York City subway rider on fire set to be back in court today. Sebastian Zepeda charged with 2 counts of murder, 1 count of arson. New York City Mayor Eric Adams pushing for federal charges to be added. America's listening to Fox News.
Good morning. It's 44 degrees in Chicago. In the AM 560 The Answer newsroom, I'm Nikki Whaley. Between 25 and 300 million real Christmas trees are sold across America each year. Now that the holidays are over, those trees can be recycled. There's more than 4,000 Christmas tree recycling programs across the country, so look for one near you. Jewelry sales and online shopping are part of the better-than-expected holiday spending this year. According to MasterCard's Spending Pulse data released Thursday, retail holiday sales jumped 3.8% from 2023. Financial experts predicted an increase of 3.2%. Mayor Brandon Johnson's giving the green light to the creation of an advisory group designed to address violence against trans people, specifically those of color. The panel will be formed by the Chicago Commission on Human Relations and Chicago Police on February 28th. The new group will review the city's policies, procedures, and training related to hate crimes and violence against trans women. In the first 6 months, the advisory group will hold meetings in 3 Chicago neighborhoods to get feedback from the trans community. The panel is also required to come up with a report with recommendations to prevent the murders of trans women. News is brought to you by Blue Star Security. Support our police and hire the police to personally protect you and your business. Visit online to schedule a free security consultation at bluestarsecuриtyllc.com. That's bluestarsecuриtyllc.com. A check of the roads coming up in 2 minutes, but now time for the Signature Bank Business Beat. Let's take a look at the roads from the...
I'm Liz Clayman, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Futures are falling on Wall Street this morning among the stocks under pressure. Tesla, which is set to release fourth quarter deliveries next week. A Russian court has fined TikTok 3 million rubles. That's less than $29,000 after finding it guilty of failing to abide by Russian legal restrictions on distributing certain kinds of information. The Moscow court's press service did not specify the nature of the complaint against TikTok. Back in October, a Russian court fined Google 2 undecillion rubles. That's a 2 followed by 36 zeros for restricting Russian state media channels on YouTube. Now that fine is greater than the world's total GDP, estimated by the International Monetary Fund to be $110 trillion. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Lillian Wu, invested in you.
Make sure that you never miss a day of Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson when you subscribe to the Chicago's Morning Answer podcast, presented by Signature Bank. Listen to the entire show each day on demand with limited commercial breaks. You can subscribe today for free at 560theanswer.com and click on podcasts or search for Chicago's Morning Answer on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Wesley is a truck driver.
I drive a truck, and I love what I do.
A truck driver with IRS troubles.
They told me I owed them $43,000.
It got really bad.
Quite a few letters in the mail. They were talking about wage garnishment, coming after my house, my car. Yeah, they don't play around. I seriously thought that I was going to lose everything.
One sleepless night, Wesley finally made a call to Optima Tax Relief at 2 a.m.
Kind of figured I'd get a machine, but I didn't. I actually got to talk to an actual person in the middle of the night.
He found just what he was looking for.
Oh, they were great people. You need a team of people that know what they're doing. Optima Tax, they know what they're doing.
Optima Tax Relief came through with flying colors.
I saved an incredible amount of money. Happy don't even come close. I was absolutely overjoyed.
Take Wesley's advice.
If you're in any kind of trouble with the IRS, call Optima Tax Relief. Don't trust anybody else.
Call Optima for a free consultation. Call 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433. Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Jim Keene Jr. of the Mail House, Inc., a family-owned and operated digital print mail house with a specialty in political advertising and a customer of Signature Bank. We knew that getting a loan to buy our business wouldn't be easy, so we turned to one of our trusted friends for a referral. She told us about the outstanding level of customer service her business received at Signature Bank since becoming one of their first customers in 2006. Today, we couldn't be happier. Not only did Signature help us finance the purchase of the mail house, but they supported our growth as we modernized our operations in mailing as well as from traditional to digital printing. If you're looking for a great bank to grow your business, take a look at Signature Bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on singlecare.com, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to singlecare.com or download the free app today.
Did you know your life insurance is an asset you can sell? I'm Jay Jackson, CEO of Abacus Life. For almost 20 years, Abacus has been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors just like you. And at abacuspays.com, we've created a free policy value calculator so you can find out the worth of your policy in just seconds. There are no fees and no obligations. Get real value from your life insurance when you need it with Abacus. Learn more at abacuspays.com.
Let's take a look at the roads from the Team Hochberg Traffic Center.
On the Tri-State 294 northbound at the off-ramp to I-90 Jane Addams, you're hitting the brakes back at Balmoral. Mundaline on Route 83 northbound. A crash at 45. Accident in Oak Brook on Butterfield at 22nd Street. The Kennedy, it is 40 minutes from O'Hare into downtown. Outbound side is 30 to the airport. The Ike, that's looking okay. Inbound, it's 40 minutes from 390. Stevenson inbound, it's stop and go between Ashland and the Dan Ryan. 40 minutes from the Veterans to DeSable Lakeshore Drive. Earlier, semi-truck fire on I-55. This is in Will County. Headed southbound on I-55 just before I-80. Reporting this morning from the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, I'm Joanne Jeanette.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, but now a quick check of your forecast from the National Weather Service.
Some areas of fog this morning, rain, breezy, and a high 51. Cloudy, breezy, and mild. Periods of rain this evening. Drizzle late tonight, low 45. Spotty drizzle early tomorrow. Cloudy, breezy, and mild, the high 51. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Scott Tucker Solutions and his show Retirement Decoded. Sunday mornings at 8. Learn more at scotttuckersolutions.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm just a regular Democrat. I'm not leaving my party, but I'm not sure why some of the things that I've chosen to do, like meeting with nominees and having views that might be more aligned with some of the Republican side, I think that's part of politics. Like, I've been warning people, like, you got to chill out. You know, like the constant, freak out. It's not helpful. So, pack a lunch, pace yourself, because he hasn't even taken office yet, because I'm not rooting against him. If you're rooting against the president, you are rooting against the nation.
Wow.
Wow.
I can't believe this dude is really starting to grow on me.
Man, if you had asked me about this dude during the campaign in 2022, I would have told you, get up, give me a break, get this guy
Yeah.
out of here.
I mean,
now he is the new
sane.
The sane. Perhaps he's going to be the new Joe Manchin.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Talk some sense into these people.
Yes.
Man.
And to think that even throughout the campaign, he was taking this angle. But these never Trumpers who I'm not going to lie, Charles. I wanted to gloat so bad on social media, but I took the more gentlemanly statesman approach about Trump winning the election when I made the post about Trump winning. But these never Trumpers, people like Brett Stevens, he wrote an op-ed in the New York Times basically saying, did we give up?
Hey,
being
look,
never Trumpers?
Hey, before we go on, hats off to the people who fixed John Fetterman in terms of his ability to speak and communicate. He did not have it during the campaign, but he's got it now.
Yeah, and I think his therapists and his medicines they're
hats
working.
off.
Yeah.
Hey, he's made a believer out of me that you can come back.
Yeah. Speaking of hats out, hats out to Debbie for breakfast this morning. Charles, Daddy, and Queen, I think we can get through the rest of the day now that we've had breakfast. Shout out to you, Debbie. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Debbie. Thank you.
She's always so thoughtful and caring. But to joining us to discuss the Never Trumpers, the Fettermans of the world is Fred Bauer. He's a writer from New England. As I stated during the break, you can find his work at Unheard, City Journal, National Review, and his blog, A Certain Enthusiasm, fredbauerblog.blogspot.com. Fred, welcome to Chicago's Morning Answer.
Thanks for having me on.
Good morning, Fred.
Now, Fred, as throughout this campaign, even before Trump started acknowledged that he was going to run again, this has been kind of the tack that the Sinema, Fetterman, Manchin, when you look at, these are Democrats, and some of the things that they've had to say about Donald Trump, and then when you go on the flip side and you see some of the things that these Never Trumpers who you want to get my blood to boiling, to start talking about Never Trumpers. What say you? Why? I mean, what is people who are listening to make of this when Fetterman is saying, I'm not going to root against Trump, but the Never Trumpers have rooted against him since he came down the escalator?
Well, I think one of the things that we've seen, over the past, month or so, is that the 2024 election was really like this reckoning for this politics of emergency, this constant, incessant drumbeat that democracy was over if Trump wins, that, he's an existential threat to the Constitution, that, America won't be the same if, Trump becomes president. Well, Trump has won the election. And so now that constant drumbeat of emergency didn't really stop Donald Trump. And actually, arguably, it helped him because it caused many of his Democratic opponents to go in really extreme directions, something that people like Cinnamon and Manchin were sort of like pushing back against, and they didn't actually really succeed in that because the party just kept swinging far to the left. But that then set up Trump's own major victory. And so I think right now some of Trump's political opponents, like Brett Stevens, are trying to take stock and say, I don't know, why didn't this work? Because there was unified media opposition. We have, Kamala Harris had this massive spending advantage, and yet Trump had the strongest Republican win in, 20 years. So why didn't this work, and what can we do to recalibrate in response to that?
This is Charles Thomas, the co-host today, and I get the sense just listening to Fetterman speak, and even to a lesser extent, Bill Maher. It's almost a reemergence of American nationalism, and I don't use the word nationalism in a negative way. It's just that it's our country, and we have to make it work. And if that's nationalistic, then call me a nationalist. But that's what I see him appealing to.
Yeah, because look, as you say, at the end of the day, yes, we have disagreements, but we are all in the same boat, and we're all ultimately Americans. And we have to find some way to make this work. And just saying that, the other side, whatever that's the other side, Republicans and Democrats, is like the end of the world and that you can't support them and they're basically quasi-traitors and insurrectionists and that sort of thing, that's just fundamentally toxic politics. And we've tried that for a while. I don't think it's really working for our country.
Yeah. Shifting topics a little. You tweeted out on December 19th If you want more normies in politics and not trust funders and or ideologues, the pay needs to change. I want to play audio clip from Dan Crenshaw. I think he was the wrong person. He's the wrong person to be the face of this because sometimes he can be so smug in his response to people who are asking him questions. I want to play this audio clip from him and get your response.
You know how much money I've ever had in the stock market? About $20,000. And yet I've been dragged through the mud on this as if like there's some insider trading. And why not? Don't let us trade stock. How about we'll just keep whipping ourselves. How about we don't make any money either? How about like just cut our paychecks? We haven't gotten a pay raise since 2008. Yeah, this is a great idea. Let's make Congress a place where only the millionaires can actually afford to do the job. This is a wonderful idea. Because what do the people want? Well, they want an easy button. All my problems will be solved if there's no stock trading. All my problems will be solved if there's term limits. Yeah, but if
he'd have stopped, I think it was the last portion of that because I'm not gonna listen. I know I may get a little hate on this. I agree with him. I agree that the reason why we see what we see in Congress, we don't see a lot of normal people, is because the rich, the lawyers they have the money to run for Congress, and when you look at the expenses of I got friends who are in Congress. It's expensive to be in D.C. Fred, right?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, it is. It's there's this thing where being in Congress, whether people like what Congress is doing or not, Congress is a very important job.
Yeah.
It's a very powerful job. And to be a member of Congress is very expensive because you have to have 2 residences.
Yep.
Either that or you end up sleeping in your office, which, again, if you're some guy who's a relatively successful businessman, do you really want to say, okay, I have to uproot my whole life, I have to sleep in my office because I'm taking a giant pay cut to take this job? They probably won't say that.
Right. That's true.
So you'll either have people who are super wealthy or people who, have these, are just fanatical in their ideology that they'll never compromise about anything and just see only one way. And that's maybe not the best worldview either in terms of, there's a place for some of that, but you don't just want that in Congress. You want to have a more diverse set of perspectives and approaches.
That's true.
Do you think more Fettermans are going to emerge after January 20th?
I think it's hard to say because I think right now Democrats are still trying to calculate what's the best approach. I think Fetterman, especially because he's in a swing state and he'll be up in 2028, is saying, okay, I can't go full resistance. I think some other Democrats might calculate it's in their advantage to do that. I think part of it's going to be depend on what Trump and Republicans do heading in. I think if they lead with something like, just speculating, or if they lead with something that might lead to unpopular cuts to entitlement programs like Social Security or Medicare, Democrats might just, use a very familiar playbook with them that they've used before and say, look, you're just trying to attack our seniors and we'll be able to sort of leverage against that. If Republicans are a little more creative and start taking some of these things, whether it's on trade or industrial policy or, some kind of pro-labor things, Democrats will have a harder time and some might have to come out more in the Fetterman direction and say, okay, how can we work with this new administration and see what it can get done? But it's probably going to depend on what issues Trump and Republicans lead with.
Yeah, that's true. Now, America celebrates 250 years in a little over 18 months from now.
Yeah.
What does that look like, and what role will Donald Trump play in that?
Well, this is something I recently wrote on for City Journal, and this is something I've been putting some thought into. I've proposed almost this what I call this 2026 project. Let's use the 250th anniversary of this country as a chance to create a more forward-looking, not backward-looking like some of these projects do, but a forward-looking way to sort of affirm what the best of America and the fact that we are a really broad and diverse country. And Trump himself, I think last year, was saying we want to have this big festival of this giant Iowa State Fair, and we want to have the statuary garden. And I'm like, oh, that all sounds interesting. Let's go even further with that, right? Let's think about how we can use federal cultural institutions like the National Endowment for the Arts or National Endowment for the Humanities to reflect upon and celebrate our American heritage, whether it's through, helping guide high school teachers through some of our founding documents so that they can then teach those to America's school children, because that's something of such a huge importance. Whether it's to encourage more public art, not just in a few places like Washington, D.C., but more broadly throughout the country. So you can go to a local library and almost just like the day of old, see the journal. construction of public buildings and some part that stuff in the country. And
kind of losing him. Yeah, I think did we lose him?
We lost him?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I think we lost him.
Oh,
there you go. You back?
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we lost you for a bit there.
Oh, okay. Well, so just to have more public art to celebrate our country, like the WPA Bowl, these murals and various libraries and close by, so that you can celebrate this great nation and the diverse people who are inside of it.
Do you think he stays away from allowing the military to march down the middle of the road? I don't
know. I'll have to see how that turns out. I know he loves those military parades. We'll have to see.
Well, because they believe he's a fascist, and he loves to do what the dictators have done, and as it relates to, I mean, think about that: a love for your military, and especially the United States military, and that's tied to fascism and communism. To see men and women marching down, which we used to do a lot back in, during the war and stuff, things of that nature, but we've gotten away from it. You think he does it?
I don't know. I know last time they subtracted that from that. I don't know. I'm not quite sure what some of the people around here are thinking about that, but I think you're totally right that marching, having some military parade is not itself inherently fascistic. I mean, that would surprise the American founders who had no problem with these military displays and that sort of thing.
Yeah, well, I think it's become part of the progressive left's attack on the institutions of America and things that made us great. And that's not about Donald Trump making America great again, but what was part of our identity and what other countries envied around the world because of I still believe America is the greatest idea ever created. And one of the reasons why I was taught a long time ago by one of my mentors, one of the hardest things to destroy is an idea. If you, and I think that's what led to a lot of American prosperity and American greatness, because America is an idea that came to fruition and did a lot of great. Did we mess up? Do we have faults? Yes, we do. But who we are as a nation, we are truly an exceptional country. And I wish more Americans really understood just how exceptional we are. And I think Brittany Grinders of the world, I think when them going to jail in Russia, she's come back. She's singing a different tune at this point as it relates to who we are as Americans. What do you say?
Yeah, no, I think this really is a great nation, and I think one of the things that's worked into our public culture is this attempt to impose this really very narrow ideological sense of what America can be. Basically, you guys delegitimize most of American history, like, oh, it's just a series of flaws and just a series of mistakes. But it isn't. It's a story of great triumph and of great hope. And it's this wonderful kind of
Yep.
Well, we got a little problem
here,
here, man. But I agree with what he says. I mean, that 250th anniversary celebration should be about how great America has been and will become.
Well, I hate that we couldn't finish that conversation with Fred Bauer. But Fred, thank you so much for joining us. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies supplements, changing the world one life at a time.
Balance of nature is becoming pretty important out there to a lot of people. And when I first started, I was really impressed. I'm a healthcare professional, trained as a pharmacist. So anything that's natural I like. And so it made a lot of sense.
Happy New Year! Start the year right and get big savings on Balance of Nature supplements with our limited time New Year's deal. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer to get 35% off your first preferred set, plus a free fiber and spice supplement with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this exclusive New Year's offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on singlecare.com, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and start saving. Single Care works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check Single Care to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to singlecare.com or download the free app today.
Did you know your life insurance is an asset you can sell? I'm Jay Jackson, CEO of Abacus Life. For almost 20 years, Abacus has been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors just like you. And at abacuspays.com, we've created a free policy value calculator so you can find out the worth of your policy in just seconds. There are no fees and no obligations. Get real value from your life insurance when you need it with Abacus. Learn more at abacuspays.com.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. They're a bank with roots right here in Chicago, and their decisions are made locally too. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Mick O'Rourke, President and CEO of Signature Bank. We'd like to wish you happy holidays from our Signature Bank family to your family.
Signature Bank helps local businesses succeed. Let Signature Bank turn your business vision into reality this holiday season. Visit signaturebank.bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. You have a true partnership with a team that is invested in your success. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Kevin Bastuga, co-founder of Signature Bank. There's no better place to be for the holidays than Chicago. Signature Bank is wishing you a safe, healthy, and happy holiday season.
Signature Bank helps local businesses succeed. Let Signature Bank turn your business vision into reality this holiday season. Visit signaturebank.bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
As we near the end of the year, many families in Latin America and the Caribbean are struggling just to get by. Inflation, food shortages, and natural disasters have left parents unable to feed their children or access water.
When the kids go to bed and we just stay in the night talking about how it's very hard to see my kids go to bed with hunger and not having something to give to them.
For over 40 years, Food for the Poor has stood alongside families like these. Gifts of $500 from AM 560 listeners have already provided food for 10 children for an entire year. Now we're asking for your help with the next 4. Your one-time gift of $200 provides life-saving food for 4 children for a year and helps the community get water closer to home. Make your best gift today. Click the red Give Life banner at 560theanswer.com or call 844-862-4673. And we thank you in advance for your generosity.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with Single Care. It's easy. Find your prescription on singlecare.com, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and start saving. Single Care works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check Single Care to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to singlecare.com or download the free app today.
Did you know your life insurance is an asset you can sell? I'm Jay Jackson, CEO of Abacus Life. For almost 20 years, Abacus has been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors just like you. And at abacuspays.com, we've created a free policy value calculator so you can find out the worth of your policy in just seconds. There are no fees and no obligations. Get real value from your life insurance when you need it with Abacus. Learn more at abacuspays.com.
Good morning. It's 44 degrees in Chicago in the AM 560 The Answer newsroom. I'm Nikki Whaley. Mortgage rates are up as 2024 draws to a close. For the week ending of December 26, an average 30-year fixed-rate mortgages were at 6.85%, according to Freddie Mac. That's higher than the year's average, despite several cuts to interest rates made by the Federal Reserve. Mortgage rates are more influenced by the bond market, which the Fed doesn't directly influence. Authorities have raised the reward to $20,000 for tips and leads to an arrest in a Gage Park mass shooting that killed 3 people and injured 6 others on December 2nd. The shooting occurred during a gathering in the 3500 block of West 59th Street. The ATF and the Chicago police are urging the public to assist in identifying those responsible for the brazen afternoon attack. News is brought to you by Blue Star Security. Support our police and hire the police to personally protect you and your business. Visit online to schedule a free security consultation at bluestarsecuриtyllc.com. That's bluestarsecuриtyllc.com. A check of the roads coming up in 2 minutes on AM 560, The Answer.
If you listen to the mainstream media and the Democrats, you'd think it was a sin to be black and conservative. Well, John Anthony blows up that perception every week on Black and Right. Join John tomorrow afternoon at 4 when he pushes back against the left and its regressive, progressive agenda that tries to dictate how people should think or feel about politics. Listen to Black and Right tomorrow afternoon at 4, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to end your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other IRS actions. Make sure you're getting the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima today for a free confidential consultation.
Call 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Balance of Nature supplements, changing the world one life at a time.
I take it because it makes me feel good. I mean, so that's why I take it.
My husband is over the moon about it, so I'm reordering.
I feel better.
He's been on it for 8 months, if not longer. He took it for a while, for like 3 or 4 months, and then he stopped taking it. And then once he stopped taking it, he's like, I need that back again. So we started doing it again. But I'm telling you what, it's amazing stuff. It truly, truly is.
Happy New Year! Start the year right and get big savings on Balance of Nature supplements with our limited time New Year's deal. Go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer to get 35% off your first preferred set, plus a free fiber and spice supplement with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this exclusive New Year's offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
Let's take a look at those roads from the Team Hochberg Traffic Center.
Mundelein on Route 83 northbound. A crash at 45. Accident in Oak Brook on Butterfield at 22nd Street. The Kennedy, it is 40 minutes from O'Hare into downtown. Outbound side is 30 to the airport. The Ike, that's looking okay. Inbound, it's 40 minutes from 390. Stevenson inbound, it's stop and go between Ashland and the Dan Ryan. 40 minutes from the Veterans to DeSaba Lakeshore Drive. Earlier, semi-truck fire on I-55. This is in Will County. Headed southbound on I-55 just before I-80. Traffic is sponsored by Lowe's. New deals just dropped at Lowe's. Get up to 50% off select holiday decor clearance. Plus, save with weekly deal drops on appliances, tools, and more. Valid through December 18th while supplies last. Selection varies by location. Reporting from the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, I'm Joanne Jeanette.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, but now a quick check of your forecast from the National Weather Service.
Areas of fog to start us off this morning with some occasional rain. Breezy day, high 51. Clouds breezy mild. Rain this evening. Drizzle late tonight, low 45. Spotty drizzle early tomorrow. Cloudy mild. The high tomorrow, 51. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560. The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
Welcome back to Chicago's Morning. Is that Here Comes? No, it's not. Welcome back to Chicago. It is. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. Welcome back to Chicago's Morning Answer. I'm John Anthony filling in for Dan Proft. He's Charles Thomas filling in for Amy Jacobson.
That assessment of the speaker on the monitor, that didn't get on the air, did it?
Which one? No, it didn't.
Oh, good.
No, it didn't. Charles, we're gonna open up the lines. I guess we can do a modified open line Friday. Give us a call 312-642-5600.
Modified. This is my favorite part of the week.
Well, it's not sponsored anymore. 312-642-5600. So we can't have all the fanfare and all the things that come with the original open line Friday. But Charles, I want to start it off with this, right? I want you to hear. I love this woman to death. I really do. I think Pastor Sewell gave a great explanation of who he thought she was, but she's missing it on this one here.
Judaism is a faith. Israel is a state. It is not above critique. And that what Bibi Netanyahu has done to the Palestinians since October 7th is a Holocaust. It is a Holocaust that is being committed on Palestinian children and women. And I'm not going to quiet my perspective on that, to kowtow to whatever the prevailing narrative is at the New York Post. The larger discussion that's happening right now is whether or not having survived a Holocaust gives you the permission to commit a Holocaust. And for whatever reason, people have been, what I would say, milking the Holocaust narrative and essentially saying, like, we lived through this and we survived this, and so now nobody can say that anything we do is wrong. And that's the big issue today, is that we have so many people that will not recognize that it is totally feasible that a Jewish person, and I'm speaking here about Bibi Netanyahu, could do something as horrific as what was done to the Jews throughout World War II or throughout history.
Charles, what say you?
Well, I mean, there were 1,200 people killed on October 7th, right? In the Hamas attack. There's been at least 45,000 known dead, probably tens of thousands more dead in Gaza. It's disproportionate.
Yeah.
And I think that's what she's saying.
Yeah.
And when you use the word Holocaust, I think people are, no, it does not. It does not meet the what happened in the 1930s and 40s in Europe. It does not. And she may have been a bit hyperbolic about that.
Yeah.
But what she's saying is, if you're living in Gaza and you're raising your family there and you're not involved in politics and you see your neighborhood utterly destroyed, you see your friends, neighbors, family members killed, buried under rubble, you can't even find them. Yes, to those people and how they look at life and their daily lives, it is a Holocaust.
See, I see it from a different perspective.
Okay.
Here's the reason why. I would add anybody that wants to really find out what's going on in Gaza, especially as it relates to the number of lost life, head over to the Henry Jackson Society. They actually did a report. I don't believe there's been 50,000 people that have been killed there. I don't like war. I don't like it. I'll tell you that first and foremost. But what has happened with these terrorists, Charles, I want to see the eradication of Hamas, the Muslim Brotherhood. I want to see their eradication. You know why I want to see their eradication? They are putting children in harm's way. I had the former Givati Brigade commander on my show, and he talked about how these tunnels that they build under these hospitals and schools, and how they have assault weapons and everything in these places, and they are attacking the soldiers of Israel from these locations. They'll shoot out a missile from these locations, and when Israel returns fire, they have women and children. The way they're counting these dead bodies, they're counting men who they're identifying as women, so that it looks like there are more women and children, people that are not children, enemy combatants. They're putting all of them together. So as it relates to that, I understand why Bibi is doing what he has to do, because guess what? People forget the many attacks that Israel has suffered under Arafat, under Hamas, under Muslim Brotherhood. So you know what I say? Because who would have said to America not to go and attack Iraq and Afghanistan? Who amongst these leaders would have said, no, you cannot do that? This was a war not of their choosing. Israel didn't choose this war. These barbaric animals chose this war. So my thing is, you want to do this? suffer the consequences. And I don't mean that with the kids in the jail. I hate it with every fiber in me that these kids have to suffer under these conditions. You know what I mean?
Well, I hear everything you say. I'm just saying that all I can say is that from the perspective of a family not involved in politics, just trying to survive every day, going to the market, coming home, feeding the family, playing with the kids, to them, this is horrific.
Yeah.
And I don't have any recommendation for how it's going to stop other than it needs to stop.
No.
It has to stop at some point.
You know how it
has
stops?
To stop there. It has to. I don't know how it
You
stops.
kill them all.
Well, that's
You destroy them.
Well, that is if you kill them all, that's called genocide.
And not the kids. I'm talking about going. And this is what
What's a
BB
kid?
What
16
BB is
years
trying
old
to
with
do.
a bomb strapped to his
But
waist?
what BB is trying to do is systematically go in there and go after the terrorists.
I got you.
They are using
But
these people as shields.
Whatever. But these people are being used as shields. Who are being used as shields, in your analysis, are not combatants.
And
they are being killed. And I think that what Candace Owens is saying is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Where's the humanity?
It's not a
here?
Holocaust, though.
It cannot. Well, I would agree. It's not a Holocaust compared to what happened at Auschwitz or Treblinka. No, it's not. It's wholesale killing.
Yeah.
I didn't say murder. I said killing of innocents.
Yeah.
And I think that's what she's saying, that it's got to stop. And there's a law. We were talking earlier to the pastor from Detroit, Pastor Sewell, and he was talking about how the black vote, 20,000 black people voted for, black Americans voted for Donald Trump. Yeah. Well, you know what? 22,000 Arab Americans in Michigan, which has
voted
a
for
very
Trump?
large, voted for Trump.
Yeah.
And because they are concerned about what's happening in Palestine, and those are Americans.
Right.
They are Arab Americans, I hate to use hyphens for anybody in this country,
Right.
but they are Americans. They are voters. They are citizens, and they are outraged. And they're and by the killing. I didn't say murder. I said killing, and they want it to stop. And we got to find a way to make it stop.
Yeah.
And I think
which it is now that Trump has won, and now Biden's getting credit for Hamas now wanting to come to the table. You know why they want to come to the table? They know that there's a man that's coming into office who's a strong man who will not take their crap of what's going on. And let me say this before all the people, you hate Muslims. No, I studied the Quran. Don't even come there with me.
Well, I haven't.
I've studied the Quran. I've studied the Hadith.
Old Testament.
Yeah. So so I do not hate Muslims. I've had Muslims on my show. You guys just didn't know about it. When I was in a General Assembly, I reached out to CARE. To have a meeting with them to discuss their issues, just to find out who's who. So as it relates to that, I do not, Islam, I'm not anti-Islamic. I'm not at all. I understand. The at issue, though, is these terrorists. Because like you said, 22,000 people in Michigan who are of the Islamic faith voted for Donald Trump. Another faction that he was able to bring into the fold.
Because they wanted to see an end to the killing.
Right.
And that's why they vote that way. They're not in any imminent danger in this country. They just want to see the killing stop. And a lot of those college students. I mean, I remember walking through the tent city at DePaul when it was up a couple of years ago. Those kids weren't anti-Semitic.
Right.
They just wanted the war to stop.
Right.
They wanted peace.
Right.
And I want peace. I don't want to see what's happening in Ukraine happening. And I don't want to see what's happening. I don't want to see the Houthis firing hypersonic missiles at Tel Aviv. It's got to stop. And somebody's got to emerge here. And it could be Donald Trump.
Yeah.
I think it could be Donald Trump because Donald Trump, I think, ultimately will do what's right. He won't do what the lobbyists tell him to do.
Right.
He'll do what's
Especially
right.
his last term.
And I think Trump will deal. I tell you what, I trust Trump to deal with it more than Joe Biden or Kamala Harris.
Right. Especially now that it's Trump's last term.
Yeah,
he doesn't
have anything to lose.
Nothing. He has but I still think he has 18 months to do it, because after 18 months, the midterms kick in. Then they're gonna view whoever wins. If the Democrats take over either one of the houses, Trump is definitely a lame duck.
Yeah, but I don't see that happening.
Yeah,
I don't see that happening. I think we got some momentum here.
Yeah,
2 years. Not the momentum that happened during the 2024 campaign.
Yeah,
it's not going to dissipate in any 2 years.
Right.
A big problem could be if American troops are deployed either in Eastern Europe or in the Middle East. That could be a problem for Donald Trump.
Yeah, let's head over to the phone lines. Nick from the Northwest Side, welcome to Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
You guys, both of you, always do such a nice job. I'm very pleased to have you on together.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I'll be looking forward to your show tomorrow. You'll be on live?
I will not be on tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay.
Right,
but
Joe? How that? I'm not on tomorrow.
Even a rerun. I love your reruns, or whatever they want to call it. But regarding the situation in the Mideast, before all this fighting started with Israel attacking the Gaza area and the Palestinian areas, and before the Palestinian people in Gaza attacked on October 7th, attacked Israel, the problem there was there's about 80% of the people. It's similar to what's going on in America. There's about 80% of the people living there who are basically on welfare. It was through the United Nations. When you have all this free time and you have a certain amount of chip on your shoulder attitude about, well, we should be able to go where we want to go, do what we want to do, but many of them have become radicalized. I'm talking about the individual people. They've got, it's not just Hamas. They voted in Hamas. Hamas didn't come in to take over. They voted in Hamas as an organization. So that's why even the Egyptians on the southern part there have a very strong fortified area with fencing and walls and stuff. They don't want them coming in. Nobody wants to accept them in huge numbers. Palestinian people have just become so radicalized. They won't accept the fact that, like here in North America, Central America, South America, all these countries, Mexico, Argentina, the United States, all these countries are formerly owned, or whatever you want to call it, occupied by native people. Now, different kinds of European people, Spanish, people, the white European people in America and Canada, the French and English, they've taken over. But most people of color accept the fact that it's better to try to work out some way to have a better solution using the system that exists rather than trying to stand up and fight these people, actually fight with like weapons,
Yeah.
And until the people there understand that, there'll never be any peace and quiet between Israelis and Palestinian people. And I hope the few Palestinian people might be listening that I've come to know will say, you know what, maybe he's right. Maybe we got to stop looking for ways to keep fighting and keep attacking people. That we get it.
Did I lose Nick? Did I lose him? All right. We got to go to break, Charles. But guys, please stay on the line because there's some very interesting conversations that I think need to be had with the caller. So please do not hang up. Lee, Joe, Joey T, and Kevin, please do not hang up. You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer. We'll be right back.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Balance of Nature supplements, changing the world one life at a time.
I'm 71 years old, and one of the main reasons why I wanted to switch over and give it a try was that I would rather take something of natural ingredients.
I'm almost 70 years old. I still work 12 to 14 hours every day, between 55 and 60 hours a week. And there's people half my age have trouble doing what I do. Balanced Nature sounded like a good idea, and once I started taking it, I found out it was a great idea.
Happy New Year! Start the year right and get big savings on Balance of Nature supplements with our limited time New Year's deal. Sign up as a new preferred customer to get 35% off your first preferred set, plus a free fiber and spice supplement. Go to balanceofnature.com and get this exclusive New Year's offer by using discount code Chicago.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on singlecare.com, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to singlecare.com or download the free app today.
Did you know your life insurance is an asset you can sell? I'm Jay Jackson, CEO of Abacus Life. For almost 20 years, Abacus has been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors just like you. And at abacuspays.com, we've created a free policy value calculator so you can find out the worth of your policy in just seconds. There are no fees and no obligations. Get real value from your life insurance when you need it with Abacus. Learn more at abacuspays.com.
As we near the end of the year, many families in Latin America and the Caribbean are struggling just to get by. Inflation, food shortages, and natural disasters have left parents unable to feed their children or access water.
When the kids go to bed and we just stay in the night talking about how it's very hard to see my kids go to bed with hunger and not having something to give to them.
For over 40 years, Food for the Poor has stood alongside families like these. Gifts of $500 from AM 560 listeners have already provided food for 10 children for an entire year. Now we're asking for your help with the next 4. Your one-time gift of $200 provides life-saving food for 4 children for a year and helps the community get water closer to home. Make your best gift today. Click the red Give Life banner at 560theanswer.com or call 844-862-4673. And we thank you in advance for your generosity.
AM 560, The Answer.
Of course I can get to the mic. I'm Fast Johnny, baby. What you thought? Welcome back to Chicago's Morning Answer. I'm John Anthony. He's Charles Thomas, filling in for Dan and Amy this morning. Hope we didn't break the show. Huff Daddy, did we break the show? I'm sure we. Yeah, okay. He's nodding. We did break the show. I'm so sorry, Dan and Amy, for breaking your show this morning. But we're having fun, though, right, Charles?
What's break the show mean?
Meaning we just screwed up. We screwed the pooch.
Like what?
Nobody's listening to us. Nobody. We just broke the show.
I see all these people listening.
I know.
To talk to us, man.
That's not true. There's plenty of people listening to Charles.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. That's true. People love Charles Thomas.
Yeah. No, hey, man.
You're beloved.
I love it, man. I can come here and vent, man. Some like-minded folks in the queue here.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's go to Lee from Hammond. Lee, welcome to Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, believe me, plenty of us are listening to you guys.
Thank you, brother.
Great job. No, I just wanted to say people need to separate the political aspect of Israel and the Jewish aspect of Israel. You can't criticize Israel without being anti-Semitic. You know, it just blows my mind that people have a hard time with that because, you know, even in the Chicago Tribune, there's been reports of what goes on in the West Bank with some, and I'm not talking about all the Israeli people or the government itself. There are factions in that government that have promoted people going onto the West Bank and grabbing land from the Palestinians almost at gunpoint. And there are factions of the Israeli government calling for a greater Israel with no room for the Palestinians. And what's going on in Gaza? If the United States conducted a war like that, and we sort of did in Vietnam, you know, you got to burn the village to save it. We got justifiable criticism for that, and there's no reason you cannot criticize the Israeli government for what's going on in Gaza. And one more thing, I cannot believe the Israeli military, which is one of the premier militaries in the entire world, didn't know that the October 7th attack was coming. That shows all the evidence of a stand down. I think there was a military base within a 15-minute helicopter flight of the what happened down in southern Israel, and they didn't respond for 7.5 hours. I think. Why is that? How come nobody ever asked those questions?
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, and I think
Thanks,
I think he made a great point, and it's this whole business of anti-Semitism.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on, anti-Semitic because you oppose war?
Yeah.
No, it's not right. And I think that is turning off more Americans than anything. That's like the whole racism thing. They call racism every time something doesn't go the left's way. They call racism. Right. And in this case, now people are calling anti-Semitism.
Charles,
it's the same stuff.
I was going to get into that with Mark Rice, who ran for Congress, but unfortunately, we weren't able to get to that. Is it anti-Semitic to criticize a Jewish person? Is it anti-Semitic to criticize the state of Israel? But let's go back to the phone lines. We weren't able to get into it. Joey T from Palatine, what's up, brother? We're short on time.
John, can you hear me?
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, how are you, John and Charles?
Good morning.
I just want to let you guys know you are so pleasant to listen to. You guys are so intelligent. You have this conversation going on, and give yourselves a pat on the back. I love listening to you, and you need to know that. You guys are doing a fantastic job here.
All right.
And I really enjoy it, so thank you very much.
Thanks, Joey T. I appreciate that, brother.
That's even more important.
George, we didn't break the show. Joe from Arlington Heights.
Hi. Seriously?
Joe from Arlington Heights, we're short on time. Go ahead.
Yeah, you guys are great. Listen, Charles, everyone loads the death of innocents like the 1,200 that were killed on October 7th and all of the Palestinians who are innocent. But this could be stopped immediately. All the Hamas has to do is release the hostages.
Right. That's true. Absolutely. You're on point, my man. And that's what they should do.
All right.
That's what they should do. The
All right.
same spirit that says in the killing says release the hostages.
That's true. Now, Kevin from Ogden Dunes, the great Irish Prime Minister.
Oh, it's been such a sad and difficult radio show with the racism and war and stuff. I don't want to bring any comedy into the air, but I do want to talk to you two gentlemen about some fundraising that we're doing under Gimme Dat Enterprises. Brandon Johnson, as you know, Brandon Johnson is opening these wonderful homes for wayward models, the halfway house on Half Day Road. And it's a wonderful, he looked into the needs groups who weren't being taken care of in Chicago, and he did a needs assessment. These wayward models, these poor girls, they're 18, they're 19, they're 20. They need somebody like Charles Thomas or John Anthony to take care of their every need. And right now, Mr. Mayor, Brandon Johnson is in a fundraising initiative. He wants to help these girls keep active on the evenings when you guys can't get over there to take care of them. And so they're getting them in a bowling league. They're raising money for their outfit, and the branding is everything. You know, the bowling league outfits will say, help get these girls off the streets and into the alley.
Oh, wow.
Prime Minister, we got to leave it there. We got to go. Thank you so much for calling in. And Charles, thanks so much for joining me today.
Man, it wouldn't be Friday morning without the Prime Minister. Thank you.
No problem. To the producer extraordinaire, Quinn, thank you so much for helping me put this show together. And the technical producer today, George Hoffdaddy, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate you. I'll be filling in for Sean Thompson on Monday night. Tune in. Head over to blackandwhiteradio.com. Purchase some merch. Shameless plug. Right, Hoffdaddy? And I'll see you Monday night.
A battle for the gavel. Gianna Gelosi, Fox News. Mike Johnson's future as House Speaker is at risk, with Republicans divided on supporting him ahead of a vote next week. And House turmoil could lead to a delay in certifying President-elect Trump's victory. Fox's Madeline Rivera.
Congress convenes at noon on January 3rd. The first order of business for the House is electing a speaker. Without one, the House is paralyzed. It cannot swear in members, it can't pass legislation, and it can't certify the results of the Electoral College on January 6th. So here are are the Speaker election rules. The House clocks in with 434 members with one vacancy, thanks to former Republican Congressman Matt Gaetz. The breakdown is 219 Republicans to 215 Democrats. The Speaker of the House must win an outright majority of all members. That number is 218 if all 434 members vote.
The State Department will be shutting down a center used to combat propaganda. Fox's Ryan Schmelz.
The Global Engagement Center was used to combat misinformation and propaganda, especially from Russia and China. The GEC, though, has come under scrutiny from conservatives. Elon Musk considered it a major offender of government censorship. State Department officials say the center stopped operations on December 23rd. The GEC had a roughly $60 million budget and about 120 employees. It was established in 2016 under the Obama administration. Funding for the GEC was not included in the recent government funding bill. In Washington, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
Two top Canadian ministers are at President-elect Trump's home in Palm Beach, Florida, to talk about border security and trade today. They're going to meet with Tom Homan, Trump